to the VLenore Show. Here, we will discuss lifestyle, beauty, celebrity gossip, and current events in our own way, my way, the style. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Well, hello, everybody. Can y'all hear me? Something crazy is happening. Okay, hold on, you guys. Hold on. Testing. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me now? I don't know if you guys could hear me before. Something was going on very weird. Okay, I think we're good. Are we good, y'all? Let me make sure. Let me check something. Okay. All right. Let's get started. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And I apologize for the delay, honey. I don't know what was just going on um, with this connection on EV Mux. Okay. But I want to thank you guys for being here. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. If this is your first time here, my name is VLenore. And this is the VLenore Show. So today we're going to be talking about something that many families have had to experience. And it's usually not a very easy thing to do. Sometimes it's freeing, but most times it's painful to have to go through it. So we're going to be talking about estrangement and how that impacts a family as a whole. We're going to be talking about boundaries, how to establish them. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. All right. So I am going to welcome back to the VLenore Show my dear friend of many years. I don't know how that's possible because I'm still 27, but somehow we've known each other for 3 decades. I don't know how that worked. Okay. But I just want to say I'm so happy to have her back. And she has a special person with her that she is going to introduce. Okay. So welcome back to the VLenore Show. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I think I'm gonna have to add you again. Welcome back to the show, my dear friend, Marla. Oh, hi, Marla. It works. Hi, Marla Thomas. How
Hi,
are you?
Val. Thanks for having me. But you do know that I love a little fanfare, so I was thinking maybe whistles, horns,
Okay.
claps,
Let's
something.
okay.
Can we?
Let's try it again.
I
Okay.
mean,
I was
okay,
actually
okay.
saving
I'm
that
gonna close my eyes like
for
Indianapolis. Go.
yeah. I was actually saving that for our special
I would
special
like it
guest.
in the intro. Thank
You
you.
you think you're special enough
I
that
would.
you?
I would like to have it now. Thanks.
Oh, okay.
Mom, close your
Oh,
eyes.
okay. Came with this thing. Okay. Welcome back. Let me really do it right. Hold on. Welcome back to the VLenore Show. My dear friend of many years, the one and only outspoken crazy comedian, somebody, the one and only Marla Thomas. Yay! She's here. She's here.
Wait, I have a big reveal. I'm not done.
We can't see anybody with you,
No
Marla.
one's here. Earmuffs,
Okay.
eye blinders.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, the one and only Marla Thomas, creator, queen of her own world. She's a nurse extraordinaire. She's a mother. She's a grandmother. She's a great grandmother.
Wow.
She's a phenomenal cook, entertainer, pole dancer, Marlene McCraw.
Yes. Yes. We affectionately refer to as Mimi.
Mimi.
Yes.
This is Mimi. The pole dancing part was dishonest. I want to go to heaven.
I was
impressed.
You didn't.
Huh?
I was impressed.
I said she was a pole dancer. I lied.
I know. I was impressed with it.
I think she could.
If she
but
wanted,
I think that it's her Christian, pious, outstanding character, and probably the fact that her mother told her nothing is open past 12 o'clock but legs and eggs. She's not going to be willing to do that.
well, she could do it 8 p.m. prime time.
You could be a prime time pole dancer. That's a good idea, Val. I knew you would come to the rescue.
Look. I understand you got to hustle any way you can. So if she has to be in bed by a certain time, she could do the lunchtime show. In fact.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
By the way, thank you on a serious note for having us, and thank you to everybody who always joins and everybody who comments once the shows are over, because I always like at the top of anything I'm saying and doing that people understand my real purpose and my heart. And my heart is not to be sensational. My heart is not to be dramatic. My heart is not to just spill tea and be this person who runs around and talks about, openly with reckless disregard, my history and my family. But I do really genuinely believe, and I've been led to believe, that one of my purposes on this earth, and one of the reasons that I've had so many varied experiences, especially when it comes to emotionally impactful issues, is that I can share my true and honest walked experience. Not what I've heard, not he say, she say, not what I've read, but my true walked experience, in hopes that will unlock somebody else in this world to transform themselves, not to try to be me or mimic me or my life, but to find the value and the strength and the purpose of your own.
Right. I agree. And Marla, I can assure you that has happened. Okay. You have been inspiring. You are bringing to light things that everyone's not comfortable talking about or sharing with other people. And your transparency is transforming. So thank you so much for always being so willing to come out here and be transparent.
And thank you, Val, on a special note, because I appreciate the fact that you're always willing, despite your translucent background, in joining the African American women in our fight. So thank you so much. I value you for that. Thank you. Can you give yourself a horn?
I'm going to give myself a horn because I keep trying to tell you I'm the blackest person in the room. Anytime, wherever I am, I'm the blackest person in the room. Shout out to me for being black. Well, don't deny my blackness. Doggone it. Uh-oh. All right. Okay, you guys. So, Marla, when you were here last week, we talked about a number of things. We first started off. It came up because we were talking about Diddy, and somehow we started talking about some other things and how
You okay? Bless you.
I don't know, families, because we talked about everything from Diddy to Brian McKnight to some of your personal experiences with your family, and from there we talked about doing this live to talk about estrangement. So tell the audience specifically, when you talk about estrangement from family members, who are we talking about in particular, and how those situations come to be?
Well, first I want to say this. I also want to shout out, and I'm really mad at myself right now because I haven't done the true homework, but I know that you will. You might even know. There is a woman who was on the Oprah podcast who is, every day she comes across my feed, and I want to say Miss True T, whatever and I'm not gonna say it because I would rather give her true credit.
Sure.
But I will find it, I'm sure, by the end of this broadcast. But she, to me, has been the loudest voice right now when it comes to estrangement. And what we're talking about is adult children who are making a decision to sever relationship, to dissociate themselves from their parents. And now there are also come to light adult parents who make a conscious decision for their own sanity, safety, and well-being and peace to dissociate themselves from their adult children.
Right.
And it always seems to be more supported, which I totally agree with her, that people tend to have more grace for a child that says, I'm done with my parent.
Okay.
And they're very critical, way more outspoken, and way more just nasty and scowling when it comes to a parent that says, I can't do this with you anymore. And again, I say it in this way because I have to also be very clear. There is a real different responsibility when your children are egg level to 18.
Sure. Absolutely.
But when you start, in other words, I told both of my daughters, and let me just share this with everybody so they're clear. This is my mother. My mother is the mother of 2 children. I am the youngest. I have 1 older brother. And I want to be clear that, I say to my own girl and my own kids all the time, I used to say really to the girls, never to my son, but I said, oh, I don't think you get it. You come at me crazy after the age of 18, and we're 2 grown women having a fight. There
Okay.
is no, I'm calling CPS. You
Sure.
got one hope: learn to be respectful and put them up, or call the police. Because if you were to do this to me on the street, we'd have a different kind of story.
True.
In other words, they're grown.
That's
And so you have to consider life still through the eyes of love and the responsibility as a parent, in my opinion.
I
But
agree.
also, that's not license for an
To
adult
be
person to just tee off and
right.
disrespect you. And there is abuse.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's be clear about what abuse is. I mean, abuse isn't always physical. It's
Right.
mental, verbal, emotional. You have emotional hijackers out here. You have all sorts of folks that impact our own mental health, right? So, and when you see that happening, sometimes you have to make certain decisions and create boundaries. Now, you made a good point. I didn't think of it this way, but you make a good point that people are more sympathetic to a child or even an adult, a child making these decisions to sever ties versus parents. And why do you think that is? I have my ideas, but
Well, I think, and Mom, this is something that you can speak to as far as how we're indoctrinated into the responsibility of a parent. It's like, you know, you know, true transparency. We had our first reasonable reconciliation online yesterday or day before yesterday with
2
Moniece,
days
and I
ago.
haven't dealt with her in more than 4 years, 2021.
And
And
well, let's be very clear to the audience. If you are not familiar with who Marla Thomas is, Marla Thomas is a Renaissance woman. Okay, she is her own business woman. She's a personal trainer. She's been a coach. She is a social justice activist. She is a advocate for mental health and just really teaching the world about the impacts of dealing with people who may have some mental health concerns. And you may have seen Marla Thomas on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood second season because her daughter is Moniece Slaughter, if you are familiar with the show. And she is also the wife of a 10-time Grammy Award winning singer, musician. His name is Dave Thomas of Take Six. Shout out to Dave Thomas, Moniece Slaughter, and Take Six. Shout out to all of them. All that talent over there in that family. Your whole family is talented, Marla. You have,
although the 10 Grammys aren't mine, but I inspired them
I
from.
know that's right.
He had
Yeah, they
he had
are.
he had horizontal inspiration.
Mimi, close your ears. Close your ears,
Sometimes
Mimi.
the best cheerleading comes when you're never mind.
Mimi, are you need to be estranged from this lady, okay? Because she is showing out. Okay. All right. So go ahead, Marla. I'm sorry. I just wanted people to
No apologies.
understand.
So what I was saying is that you know this is the first um, public reconciliation, and let's be clear, it's what was required of her.
Okay.
And her father was more, even more. That's it. Bottom line, because her disrespect was so loud and public, and just that it had to come back this way. And I believe in that. And I even said when we had our live, you have to meet the ball in the force in which it comes. So the question that you asked was, why do you think it is that people are more forgiving and supportive of children who are adults estranging from parents than the other way around?
Yeah.
And I'm saying that there is the expectation of, well, you didn't. Here's one. I'm gonna give you three things that get said all the time.
Okay.
I didn't have you. You had me. I didn't ask to come here. You brought me here on your own.
True.
Like
I've heard that.
these are right. So in other words, if you look at the even in those two statements, if you look at the total responsibility that you're speaking of,
Yeah.
none of it ever speaks of what should be the expectation of how you should be in a relationship as you grow up. Because of course a child doesn't have the experience or the insight of a parent. So
Sure.
I expect you to be a kid until you had more experiences, and then as you grow and mature, I expect for you to respond accordingly.
I agree.
So when you're still acting like you're 12 and 10
Mhm.
and you're in your 20s,
Mhm.
because here's the thing that people aren't looking at. And she and I are gonna get into an interesting conversation. I'm gonna let you ask her some questions. But what
Okay.
people aren't looking at is that once they turn 18, they have all of the freedom and autonomy of being on their own, but they have all of the venom, and they're an adult doing things and saying things that you're expected to bear, including the expectation in a lot of cases that you're supposed to just keep taking care of me. So one of the things I used to tell my kids is, I don't want you to do anything for me. The more you do for yourself, that's what I'm investing in. The more you do for you, the less I have to do.
True.
And I'll give you
Okay.
a ramp. Now,
Like
this
that.
is where you see me always passionate, and this is where you see me, my voice gets elevated, and I'm sure my heart rate goes up a little bit, because I opened with what I meant. She's sitting right here. I speak of in factual terms with experience of what happened to me and what I lived. I was a rebellious young lady who decided that it was going to be a good idea to have a baby, which we now know as my eldest daughter.
Mhm.
I was pregnant at 18.
Yeah.
I did
Very
have
young. Very young.
I did have present responsible parenting. I did have parents who were educated, my mother. I did have means
Yeah.
with my family. We were
Yeah.
never in what I would call a struggle category.
Yeah.
And and yet and still, Marlene, did I get a job?
You did.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, now I wasn't just working one job,
Okay.
but
Oh,
and
you were
she's
pregnant?
yes, I
Wow.
was a full-time operator for AT&T
Okay.
answering service,
Yeah.
and I was also working part-time at Sears when
Yeah.
I could
Okay.
get extra hours, and I was doing that by riding the bus from
Okay.
Los Angeles. For those who know, I was riding from Los Angeles, California, out to North Hollywood to the office
How far is
as
that?
a newbie. That's a lot. Sometimes it was so terrible because I was new, so I would get my hours based on computer. I'd have to work a late short and turn right back around and be right there. So I would ask could I spend the night at my cousin's house on the couch so I could go to work, because it was too far to go and come. I wouldn't have slept at all. But
Now
anyway,
let me
good.
let me make something clear because I don't want any confusion. So when Marla was 18 and pregnant, she was not married at that time, and we are
Right.
not talking about Dave Thomas either. So, because some may say, well, why was she over here working 2 jobs and she had a Grammy Award winning husband? Okay. But he was not your husband at that time.
And he was not in Take Six.
Oh, he wasn't in Take Six then?
No.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's the
Okay.
that
Okay.
so David and I laugh because people have accused me of all kind of stuff. She's a gold chick. She just tried to, get on the grave train. She has him whipped, all this stupid stuff. David was laying bricks.
I
He
didn't
was
know that.
laying bricks, and he was also working at Domino's Pizza in
Okay.
Huntsville,
When did
Alabama.
he join the group then? I didn't realize.
The group's first project came out in 1988.
And you were around, he was around.
Moniece was born in 1987.
Got it. Okay.
Got to
Okay.
give you some, and I had to have a pregnancy, so it's not like we didn't get married till Moniece was 1.
Right. And he is not the biological
He is
father
not
of
Moniece's
Moniece, but he
biological father,
is
which is
her
why her last
daddy.
name
I
is Slaughter.
always want to make that clear. That's dad. That's daddy.
Absolutely,
That's daddy. Deniable. Undeniable.
unabashedly,
Yeah. Yeah.
that is his daughter. Like, he has
Yes.
raised her.
Yes.
Her dad Michael was always invited to be responsible first for her emotionally and second for her financially, and he did neither.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother show.
Sure. Sure. And
We can do that on another time. And I would
and
love to do that because I like I said, if I can free women and men,
yeah.
people, from being tricked into what they don't know, especially when it comes to malignant narcissism and mental health and the abuses that come along with that, and the trap of that,
Right.
it's very real.
Right.
But anyway, so I worked.
Well, let me say this too. Moniece has a phenomenal relationship with Dave, by the way.
She does. That Dave's her dad. That's it.
Dave has been her safe space a lot of times when there has been mother-daughter conflict or what have you. So they have a phenomenal relationship, but even Dave was on board with, okay, enough is enough,
Right.
with certain things that were happening in the public and behind the scenes. So, okay.
Right.
So go ahead, Marla. I'm sorry.
Right. So I'm just saying that's the reason, and to conclude the question, I believe that is why people do think that it is they give support more to kids than they do parents who are estranged. What do you think, Mom?
Well, for me, I think I look at it generationally. As parents, we don't really we have a different way of responding. I mean, my way of responding to accusations and those kinds of things is to fall back. Just just leave it alone. I mean, we respond differently than you as parents now.
Right. But why do you think people support children more who say they're done with their parents versus parents who are done with their kids?
Um, I think children just get they just automatically get the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
It's
Yeah, so
it's just routine
yeah.
that a child would get the benefit of the doubt.
And some would say, well, why would a child, something must have happened,
Right.
these parents must have done something that a
Right.
child would want to sever ties with their
Yeah.
parents. But there is this a weird, and I say weird because I think that there's this weird expectation that parents are just supposed to take whatever it is that the kids
Mhm.
bring in. But and you're right. I have heard people say, well, I didn't choose to be here, right? And as if you have to put up with whatever. But when they become adults in particular, it's different. The expectations of an adult child should be different than that of an underage child. And when you are an adult, you are expected to demonstrate respect towards other adults, most specifically your parents,
And it's crazy, Val. Um, it's almost funny to me because I take responsibility
Yeah.
for that mentality in our kids.
Okay. Okay.
How do we teach these kids? We have taught them entitlement.
Good point.
We have fostered entitlement. They didn't raise themselves. And the thing is, there is a responsible way to get there as a parent to the child.
I agree.
Right? And so what I know is that I will say this for a parent who is normal brain balance and connected as a human.
Mm-hmm.
By the time a parent estranges,
It's
that's
gotten bad.
it's more valid than anything else, because I promise you, you have turned every stone, you have cried on every shoulder,
Yep.
you have paid every therapist, you have gone with you've lost 25 pounds in fasting and praying. You have, done everything, but please, Lord, give me the pill that don't, please help him act right juice. We've
Yeah.
done it all. By the time we have to say, and I've been here,
Yeah.
that I can't do this anymore,
Yeah.
because for me, with both of my son who's 36 and my oldest daughter who is Moniece who's 38, I had to also cut DJ off in the middle of in the height of knowing that he
Mm,
has severe mental health issues, which was bipolar one, is bipolar one, bipolar one, uh, so, schizoaffective with psychotic features.
Lord have mercy.
Because after 10 years, there is still a responsibility that I'm not able to abdicate his will to care for his problem,
Yeah.
but I still am in line to be the benefit, to get the fallout or the consequence
Yeah.
of episodic behavior.
Can I say this too? And this is not to promote this platform, but I just want people to understand that, yeah, Marla has been talking about this for years, in fact. And you have not only seen her on Loving Hip Hop Hollywood, but again, not to trust me, I do not want to promote this platform, but she was also on Dr. Phil, where they were trying to address the issues that DJ had, and you were seeking assistance there and promised certain assistance with helping DJ get the medications that he needed and the support.
Well,
And
it was really more about his residential care,
okay,
and it was
okay,
all. And I also, this is. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm just sanctioning and agreeing with what you're saying and running ahead with. I know what their real reason was
hmm,
for initiating the show.
Allowing it because we
yeah.
didn't suggest it.
Right.
I remember. Yep, you didn't suggest it. Marla was talking. Marla has always been so transparent about things that were going on in her life, and she would share this on social media. She was seeking assistance. She was talking about how
We were
she
looking for
her
help.
limits, yes, and asked people, okay, if you know any way or any source for assistance, please to let her know. And I don't know if it was a friend or someone that
Yeah,
was just watching.
it's one of the young ladies that I still respect and love very much. She her mother, she and I played tennis
Okay,
together, and her mother happened to see me on her Facebook crying and saying for the first time that DJ was schizophrenic, and he was on the
yeah,
street at that point. And
yes.
she decided maybe Dr. Phil will help, and she reached out, and the intake people at Dr. Phil, they did their search and realized who we were, and took that as an opportunity to be able to get ratings, obviously. and
True.
and and they asked David and I, what is it that you would want? We said we don't want a dime. We this is for us. We don't see this. This is not. This is uncomfortable. We don't see this as exposure. Like, this was not a plot for
Right.
anything. This
Right.
was. I said we have done our research and we realize. And this was my saying. I realize now, with all we've been through, and even having insurance, but it's still not being enough to get the proper care, to
Right.
afford the proper care. I said, I realize now that sanity is not even for the rich, it's for the wealthy. We were talking
Wow.
$10,000 cash a month, 10 to
For
20.
medications, for therapies,
Well,
all
for
of
him
it.
to live, he needed to be in an inpatient scenario that did it
Yeah.
all, and diet, the whole thing. And
Yeah.
the states of California and Florida, they won't take the insurance, and probably because they have the highest level of people in need that are on the street. So it
Probably.
might,
Yeah.
so they'll consider the insurance thing from the middle of the country.
Right.
And so the bottom line is, who can you this is why I fight so hard because that's not affordable. Do you know how many families are making the decision of I either have to let you go on the street
Yeah.
because you can't stay here because it's not safe,
And
or
why wasn't it safe for DJ to
oh
be there?
we had three very bad physical incidents. The first one, DJ was harmed with us trying to defend ourselves physically. This is a 27-year-old grown man.
Right.
The second, I was harmed, and the third, David was harmed. That was in a 10-year span.
Yeah.
So when he would be off of his medication, he would have these
Episode.
episodic issues that would be rageful and just totally out of his mind. He's in a different reality.
Yeah.
So yes, so we ended up on Dr. Phil because of that, and we were completely taken advantage of in the way that I take that back. I'm not going to say taken advantage of because you can't be taken advantage of when you agree to something. We did agree to be guests,
Well,
But you didn't know.
but we were exploited.
You didn't know what you were agreeing to.
I know.
Absolutely. So you can be taken advantage of.
And
Because that's not
and
what you signed up for, by the
That
way.
isn't.
and the bottom line was really they wanted to get Moniece on there
Mm-hmm.
for the ratings. That was really the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as he was in the facility, they made up a reason why
They
he
couldn't house him.
why he couldn't be housed. But it was very clear to me what their real goal was,
Absolutely.
because they weren't interested in having Lexi on there at all.
Yeah, because let's talk about that just for a second. Everybody was on the stage. You had 3 children, you and Dave. You all are still together as a family unit. You're out here trying to get us, navigate through this due to the relationships with 2 of your children. Even though Moniece was not the focus, you're right. They wanted her on there for ratings. And so it's Moniece on the stage, it's DJ on the stage, it's you and Dave, and Lexi is in the audience.
But let me
they flatly refused to have her be involved.
It's worse than you know. She was there.
I know she was there. Yeah.
It's even worse. They called me 2 days before filming. That is when they found out who Moniece was. Initially, it was because Dave was a 10-time Grammy winner of the group Take 6.
Right.
Which is how they introduced it.
Mm-hmm.
And
but it's more salacious to have.
They called me and said, "Wait a minute, we Moniece Slaughter is your oldest daughter," and I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Will you ask her to come on the show?" I said, "Absolutely not." And
wow.
No, I did.
It's not about her. It's not about her.
Anything to take away from the intention of getting my son to help you. He was on the street.
Right.
So what I'm saying to you,
they want to exploit Moniece.
I knew that and I said to them, no, because I'm not going to participate in the shit show.
Right.
And they said, can we ask her? I said, if you ask Moniece to come on the show, the only way I will participate is if you bring my youngest daughter as well, because I need America to see 2 intact, loving parents and a family that has 3 kids. 2 of them have different issues. 1 does not. All 3 were raised by us in a sound home with no abuse, with no addiction, with no all the things that. And let me be clear, because I don't want to absolve myself as if we were the Huxtables and all the rest of y'all are messed up. Not true. But what I am saying is there are true traumas that do precipitate mental health issues. There are things that ignite that. In my household, they did not exist within my house. That's fact. She's sitting right here. She can confirm or deny.
And again, I just want to say to Moniece, girl, I'm sorry that she had to be put in that position too, to be honest, because they were just exploiting her. It's more salacious to mention that Moniece is there than Dave. Dave is so freaking accomplished and has put so many years in the industry, but it's salacious to say that this the child that was appearing on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, that was more I guess for rape.
And Lexi came and I said, she's here, you're gonna bring another stage. they said, yeah, we're setting up. It's time for you to go on stage. And we were all, she was behind me. We were all walking on stage. And when we walked onto the stage, they escorted her right. She was sitting in the front row. She
That's
was
great.
there.
I know that's so. Oh
They
wow, I
did it
didn't
on
know it
purpose.
was that. I didn't know you were
Yes.
about to go on stage.
It was that manipulative and it was that blatant. But by then it's 3, 2, 1.
Wow.
And we hadn't seen DJ until we saw him on stage at the show.
And they did everything they could to antagonize Moniece.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
all.
that's what
That's
Val's saying.
okay. They really wanted to put her in a bad position. To be quite
Mm-hmm.
honest, it wasn't fair to her. It wasn't fair to DJ. It wasn't fair to Lexi. None of this, and it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to the whole family because you all were seeking assistance and were trying to at least support this process. You know.
And from there, he was escorted out of the one thing that was supposed to be cared that they promised that they would do for 2 years. And from there, he went to jail for being on the street and being, walking around nude and whatever. So anyway, but yeah, so that's kind of that's the issue for me. And I'm glad Mom is here to give a generational perspective
Mhm.
on the differences, because I know that we can begin to talk about how hard it is inside of our family with our perspectives on how to handle what was happening with Moniece.
Mhm.
Because I did get to the point in our last within that last issue, all the issues we were having, to say I'm done. And I told her privately for 4 months: August, September, October, November. It was in December that she did what she did and made that announcement. But all along behind the scenes, almost daily, David and I were trying to manage the situation privately. But it was more than a firestorm. So finally I said to her, listen, I'm going to meet you on the platform, and with where you're going, this will be the first time that I'm not going to just, because it's always also inclusive of me, which is very different than us. And I was quite a pill. She should have estranged herself from me when I was 14 or 15.
I was going to
But
ask, you said that you were rebellious, and I was going to ask Mimi, was there any estrangement with the two of you, or did you even consider that? Was that something you even considered, Mimi, when Marla was younger?
while
And
she's
even if
answering
you
that,
all,
I'm gonna do what's most unprofessional, because I know Dave Thomas is gonna see this. David, my battery is now down to 10%, so I'm gonna get a cord. But I brought my proxy, who's also in part of this interview, and while I'm away, my mom will have an exclusive time to speak. Okay, sweetie, fly now.
let me say this. The reason Marla is saying this, y'all, is because the other night after we had our interview, it wasn't the same day. It was the next day. I guess they had a conversation the same day, but the next day, Marla and I are on the phone. Dave calls because he's out, on tour. And he calls, and Marla puts him on three-way, and he was giving Marla the business about the fact that her battery was dying and she had to leave. Dave is our producer, okay? Anytime Marlon's on the platform, we automatically have Dave as our producer, and he was not happy with us. Okay, he was not happy. So
No,
anyway,
he was happy with you, Val. He was happy with you.
well, he might not be happy with me today because I had problems at the beginning of this doggone show. But
No, you
Mimi,
listen. My husband, he said, "Did you?" He said, "I watched the whole thing twice."
oh, he
And
watched it
he said,
twice.
"I could talk to you for a whole hour." And I was like, "Please don't. Write a song. Do something else. Sing. Do a singy song. Do something." He's like,
Do some
"Look at
else.
Val and look at you. You were staring up at the camera and your mic." I said, "Bro, do you have something to this?" Ladies, when you have a man that travels, and the minute that he turns his attention, I'm like, please go sing. Please. Please
Don't
get
you
back
have
on the
something
stage.
to rehearse? Don't you have
Well,
something
cause
to write? You ain't got no
right. Can
songs to
you
write
go?
right now.
Can you do something? Can you go play with your friends? Like what? Why are you talking to me? Because he's like, because he's bored. He's out there when he's home. He's always busy. When
Right.
he's out there, he's like,
That's true. That's
I
true. I
saw
get
you
it.
on Val's show. You got on there. You didn't have on any makeup. You looked unprofessional. Look at Val
You
and look
did.
at you.
You
I'm
did
like,
not look unprofessional. You were beautiful, by the way. People were
I said, you know what
in
I
the
told her?
comments saying the skin is skinning, honey. They said you were beautiful.
I
We're
said to
just
him,
messing with you.
I said, listen, first of all, Val has an edge. She's translucent.
Oh, I
She doesn't
can't
need to.
stand you.
She.
Mimi, get her. Can you be estranged today?
She had
Can you estrange yourself for the day?
she has a fixation. I don't get it.
Lord have mercy. Okay, but Mimi, I'm so sorry. Was there a time, a moment where you felt like this kid is a lot? And I don't know if I'm gonna be able to continue to put up with whatever it was that was going on.
Well, the first time was, well, Marla was always a lot.
That's what they
From the
say about
time
me. So it's okay.
from the time she was 2, she was a lot.
You know I can hear you.
Yeah, I know. So at that young age, I never ever knew what she was going to say that
Mm,
was going to embarrass me to
mm,
no end.
So these kids get it honest.
They get it the first time at 2.5. I have a friend, and her husband traveled, and Tommy was traveling because he was playing ball.
Okay,
And
that was your husband. And by the way, Marla's dad is a former Major League Baseball player. Okay, so that's when she said they had means. She was living a good life, and so Mimi is saying that dad was out traveling because he was playing. Okay.
Yeah, he was on the road, and her husband was on the road. He was a singer.
Okay.
So what we would do is on Sunday, we would go to these model homes and look at model homes.
I love
That was
it.
Pastime.
that was our entertainment.
Yes, I love it.
But her mother-in-law was living with her.
Okay.
So one day, now keep in mind, Marla's 2.5. One day, Marla asked me, "Mom," and I don't want to call her name, why does Mrs. X, why is she always in the car? Why does she always have to go with us? Now she's 2.5. Okay, 3 weeks go by, everything is great. The next week, nothing. And then one Sunday, her mother-in-law gets in the car, and with this tonation at 2.5, Marla says to her, "Why is it that every time the wheels turn, you are in this car, and you
A
look like
two-year
you're
old.
100?"
She's so articulate. Go ahead now. Wow.
That's what she said. And so, any adult would never imagine that a 2.5-year-old would come up with that by themselves. Surely she heard that from me.
That's true. They would think that.
I mean, a 2.5-year-old, how would they come up with that on their own? And then I was interviewing somebody when she was 3 as a live-in help, and I had a round table. Marla walks up to the lady and she says,
I'm
"Do you
scared.
belong to Weight Watchers?"
I'm dead.
And the lady said, "No."
Gone. I'm gone. I am not.
Wait. And so she
What?
continues to walk around the table. And Marla said, "Why? You don't think you're fat?"
Marla.
I just wanted her to eat more fish. That's all. I was trying to be helpful.
And then she went on to tell her what her aunts eat because they're on Weight Watchers. So I'm telling you how far back this goes. So when she was, I'm going to say 17, nothing would do her but to get to Oakwood.
Well, you have to remind them that you left Dad, so now you were a single mom,
Right?
and I was very mad about all that.
Right. So She
'Cause
wants to
she's
go to
acting
Oakwood. Right.
I was uprooted as a sophomore in high school. I just have to give that back. Not that it justifies bad behavior,
out. Right.
but it's not just so she nothing would do her. Nothing would do me because I was taken from there against my will
Right.
because I had to because parents got divorced and I had to go live with my mom because my dad, who lived still in Huntsville, would not have, no one would be there to do anything because he was still in baseball.
Right.
So I was tricked and bamboozled into coming to live with my mother in LA, which I did not want to do.
Okay.
Bamboozled,
Okay.
boozily bam.
I don't know who bamboozled you, but
Tony
anyway,
did.
anyway, so she performed about getting to Oakwood and
Mm.
Huntsville.
She should have estranged during those time because I was horrible.
So she carried on. She carried on. So then she said, "Well, I'm coming home. I want to come home." I said, "No, you're not. You died to get there.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to stay there. You are not coming home."
Mm-hmm.
So that was really the first, you could
Resistance.
say, strong boundary drawn, or it could have been an estrangement.
Okay. 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 Marla, so when she said, "No, you're not coming home," how did that make you feel? I'm just curious.
That was the first time. I'm gonna be honest. I will never forget. I was in Peterson Hall in Huntsville, Alabama, at Oakwood College, which is now university, and I was on the telephone outside my dorm room.
Mm-hmm.
And when I couldn't convince her to let me, because the reason is because during the break, the after your semester break, no one's there. The whole town is. The people go to their
Oh, right, right,
respective homes, and
right.
in different cities and towns, and it's a ghost town. It's a college town. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm going back, and I was dating Moniece's father at the time, and that was a whole thing. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go home for the break. She's like, no, you're not coming back because my dad had home too, our home there, and then also another place that he rented as well, and so that was the first time for me that I
Mm-hmm.
took a look at myself.
Okay. It
That
was a wake up call.
I would, and the wake up call was, I don't think you like who you are. You could be a better person. Because I was a brat, like leaving $20 under the emergency brake of the car because my dad,
Wait, what?
my dad bought us. Okay, quick brief. This I'll never have to tell you another brat story, and I say this with shame and embarrassment, and I would like to get continued support and remorse for my wicked ways. My dad bought when before they got divorced because my brother's a year and a half older than I am.
Okay.
He went out and it was time for us to start driving. So my dad bought us a brand new Subaru off the showroom floor. So he comes home. She's working as a nurse, and he comes home all proud. And we hated it. It was electric blue, and we were like, "What is this? We wanted a Camaro." And my mom,
Ungrateful heifer. Okay.
it gets bad. So my mom comes home, and he says to her, kids are acting up. I can't stand these kids. Blah 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 blah. I bought a brand new car for them to drive. And Mimi said, "Oh, why'd you pick that color?" So now we knew we had an inroad. So my level of wasted intelligence, I recorded on audio. That was when the Camaros first changed body shape. They became these sleek, and the jingle was Camaro. So I recorded it on loop. And so when my dad would go to bed, I would play the commercial. So it would be subliminal. And so 2 weeks later, she
Through
was,
osmosis, he's supposed to get this message and think
and he
it's from
did,
the Lord. Okay.
because with my mother's help, going, well, I mean, I'm not saying it's the worst car ever, but I mean, I just don't know why you picked that color. She kept saying things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she didn't know, she wasn't on our team to try to manipulate. So
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks later, he was like, F it. He took the new Subaru, traded it in,
Mm-hmm.
and brought us a brand new Berlinetta Camaro. Now here's the trick. That's
My
what my brother wanted in particular. I wanted a 200SX, a Datsun.
oh Lord.
My father was coaching at the time with the San Francisco Giants. We leave. My brother, he's older, so he's out of school and whatever. So the Camaro comes to me a year later.
Okay. Okay.
And in LA, because now I'm living with her. I don't want this car. This car was
Oh my Lord.
it had T-tops. I mean, it had the whole thing. And
First
but
of
it was
all,
a bit. It had a
I don't appreciate us you're aging us, okay? They don't even make Datsuns no more. Like what in the
girl.
world?
Let me tell you something. I'm trying to tell your audience you are old as hell. So anyway, so so
Oh my
so I
God.
ended up deciding. I said to my dad, I want a black 200 SX.
Okay.
And he was like, you have a new car, zip it.
That's
So I
right.
said, okay. So I put $20 under the emergency brake, cash, and I left the keys in the ignition and the door unlocked in LA off of
Oh
Pico.
my Lord. So you put the money in there so they could
They
see?
could see the money, and once they opened the door to get the money, they would see the keys were in the car and they would steal it.
Oh my Lord.
And I knew that I was fully covered. We had more insurance than the law would allow. So I knew and when we got the payoff for the Berlinetta, I would have him buy me the 200SX. She goes out to go to work to outside and sees it and says, Marla. And I was like, damn. So, but my mother was a baby. She's a love. She used to get mad. I used to call her Queenie. She would always tell. She wasn't a disciplinarian in that way. I'm gonna tell your father, and I'm like, I know you are. Mac, mac, mac. So
Oh
she
my
called. So she calls
Lord.
my father in San Francisco, and she says, "You would never believe what she did." And of course, everybody can believe everything now because the trick's out the bag. I'm a problem.
I honestly wait, I did not know this about you, Marla.
Oh, I was terrible. And so my dad told the clubhouse guy, "God, just buy the Datsun, the Nissan, and drive it down there and pick up the Camaro." And they swapped cars. So that was by the time I was 17, because I went to college at 17. So that was at 16. And so at 17, I recognized you're an asshole, Marla.
Well, good.
And you need to start deciding who do you really want to be? It's not what you have, is not, and literally, and the conversation with myself was not this complex, but it was really that. I don't like how I feel about myself. So I need to become conscious of how I show up to myself, to the world. That was real.
For
So
yourself.
that was the beginning.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean it was smooth sailing from there, but it was a start. Right, sweetie? Let's hook up.
I bet she really, really, really appreciates you now, Mimi, huh? Because now she's going through, or has gone through, I should say, some difficult moments with her children. How's that? So when that happens to you now, Marla, how do you process that? Do you, someone, now let me say this. Someone said, because you highlighted it the other day when they were, was it in your chat? I want to say when you were live and someone says something like, well, Marla,
Is this
these
karma?
experiences, yeah, or is your karma. What do you say about
And
that?
I said it's not karmic. I said everybody's a different person. And I even was saying to them, the one mistake I can honestly say that I own as a parent that I hope no other parent that can hear my voice makes is you don't get the same parents because we're not the same kids.
Right.
Parents trying to unilaterally raise their kids because I did this for one, I'm gonna do this for other. They're not the same. I'm not the same as my brother, and my family was. I was guilty. My dad in particular was guilty for that. He turned my brother and I into one now, and we are totally different souls with totally different problems with totally different processes. We are not the same at all. But everything that happened that was a disappointment or whatever, it was Marlon Bryan, Marlon Bryan, Marlon Bryan. It was never, well, this is Marla and this is Brian. And that was a guilty issue of my dad, not so much my mom. My mom didn't do that.
Gotcha.
But so I don't believe in karma in that way because I believe that you are who you're supposed to be, and you're born with an individual package. God designed you, and you're different than the next one. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. So therefore, I'm going to even see parenting different. Like, for example, I was devastated when my mom left, because I didn't have dissension in my home. They weren't getting along, but we didn't know it. We didn't have,
Right.
again, there was no fighting family. It wasn't like,
And it wasn't your business.
no,
You know.
they knew, we
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah.
So when she had enough, she left. We
Yeah.
didn't know she was leaving.
Got you.
See, that is a generational thing, because I had been planning and talking about leaving for 1 year prior to leaving.
To
So it
your
was,
husband. To your husband, but
yes,
not to the kids.
right.
Got
It wasn't,
you. Not overnight. Never
no,
is.
no, it wasn't anything, you know, sudden or
Right.
unplanned or
Right.
any of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But generationally, you were taught, or I was taught, if you are having difficulty, you don't put that on your children.
I
So
agree. I
I
agree.
never discussed any discord, any problem, nothing with my children.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that was going on, I never discussed it.
Yeah, and that's to protect them, their feelings. It's not about a problem. It was a problem that you and your husband were having, not
Right.
with your children. So it's not their business, and you were protecting them. So I get that. Mimi, do you think that there is a such thing as karma where the grandkids are concerned?
Um, I think so.
Mimi disagrees with Marla. Okay.
That's only because right before we got on there, my 2-year-old grandson waved his finger at me and told me he was done with me and hung the phone up in my face. That's why she thinks that.
What did you do to him?
Because he's just like you.
He did
Ooh,
that tonight.
ooh.
He
Do
said,
you
"No, I don't want Michi." And I said, "What?"
He's just like
And he
you.
said, "Michi, I don't want you." Click.
strong willed like
And
Marla
I
was?
said, "I'm coming to your house tomorrow, and I'm gonna spank that little pale butt."
Karmic, just like her.
What
Hmm.
about what she has had to deal with where Moniece and DJ are concerned? Did you feel like that with them when she first started having difficulties?
Um, I think Moniece and Marla, there are some similarities in their personalities and the way they respond and deal with things,
Okay.
which you could interpret as some of the situations as karmic.
But
Okay.
let's be real. Because of your history, it is you that initiated the conversation and the awareness that it was more than just personality, strength, and issue, and that we needed to approach this from a mental health
Oh
perspective.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's what makes the difference.
Okay.
And let me say this to parents. Every kid, that's what that's what adolescence and puberty is about.
Yeah.
Different hormones are introduced. Everybody is riding this wave of growth that causes rebellion, sometimes withdrawals, sometimes this social awkwardness, substance use. The kids are doing all kind of things. It's only when it continues, which is why most people don't have an actual diagnosis of anything justifiable until they're over the age of 18.
Okay.
Because can you call misbehaving mental illness? No.
Right.
But when it's extreme, or you see different things, and that is the thing. It's almost like, and the reason I like to use this as an example, we all like to compare zodiac signs.
Yeah.
Oh, I know you how you act because you a Pisces. I know what you're doing because oh, that's that Virgo in you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at you, you all proud, you got that lion, you a Leo.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
There is a base for that. But when you bring in environmental differences,
Sure.
upbringing,
Sure.
mental health changes and issues,
Sure.
there is a difference.
Hmm.
So what I'm saying is, let's call that the baseline.
Okay.
At the baseline, I think Monice's spirit is most like mine at the core.
Yeah. And
She's
honestly,
Yes, I
you
say
guys,
that just
yeah, I agree. I'm
there's
agreeing with you,
there's some
but I'm also
similarities.
saying you were asking, and I'm saying that even from your perspective, it was you who understood. You need to look into this a little bit more. Be
yeah,
Well,
with my kids.
from a trained eye, it looks different.
gotcha, gotcha. And when you say a trained eye, Mimi, you were a psychiatric nurse for years,
Yeah,
correct?
that was my specialty.
So okay, so you can see things that others may not be able to see. Okay, so and let me say this too, Marla. When you and Moniece went live the other day, you can totally see how you guys are like. Okay,
Oh, we
It's so clear that's your daughter. You know?
I agree. Matter of fact, Lexi and I joke, and she's like, "You need to go get your other daughter back because she's a straight laced dud. She's like Dave, except inside the family." But Moniece and I said we both have the same, borderline no filter. My difference is because of the soul that I am,
Mhm,
and this is where I pray she continues to work, because where we have a different sense of self identity and strength. All that extra stuff that you see that is willing to damage others is projection.
mhm,
I don't have that because I've never, sometimes I didn't know where I was going, but I
mhm.
always knew who I was.
Okay.
When David asked me to marry him, what I said is, I will give you everything. Don't ever ask me to give up my Marla. Those were words. He
Okay.
says, what does that mean?
Mm.
I said, I'm always going to be athletic. I've always been more comfortable and had a lot of male friends that are strictly platonic. If this threatens you or this bothers you, I'm not your girl. I'm not going to do things on a schedule, meaning just because it's a silver anniversary, we got to, it's da 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 da. I might say, let's go skydiving. Let's do that for our 25th.
I'll
So
be
I don't want
honest.
to.
Go ahead. No,
I'm just
finish your
saying
thought.
I don't want to meet standards and marks that other people set because you just say that this is what everybody should be doing at this time of their life.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what drives me, and I'm gonna do what drives you, and we're not gonna consider anyone, not her, not my dad, not the kids. That's gonna be us.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. I'm gonna be honest now. The one thing I can say that I really admire that you just mentioned is the fact that you knew who you were at 19 years old.
Well,
Like
that's
I,
how I was able to take a 6-month-old baby and bounce out of a relationship as a child
well,
and
I
say that
had a,
you're the man I'm not supposed to be with for the rest of my life. I
look
gotta go.
at 21 and becoming a mother. I didn't know who I was per se. I was still trying to figure it out, so it made mothering in some aspects difficult because I didn't even know who I was, to be quite honest. And I was at a space where at that time I was very vulnerable, so depending upon who I was dating or depending upon where I was hanging out or who I was hanging out with, those things um I and maybe at times tried to mimic because I wasn't clear about who I was.
Hmm.
I wanted, anyway. So I
Well,
admire
but I think
that
that
about
let me say this, Val. I'm glad you mentioned that because I personally think that that's normal.
you. Yeah, I just well, yeah, that's why I
I
admire
think
you.
I don't think don't admire me because I honestly, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. I really think I look back and I marvel because that had to come from God. Period. I don't know how that got in there. That's the truth. I don't know how that happened because I look at the level of thought I had and discernment, and there were at I can give you 3 or 4 pivotal points
Mhm,
that were journey altering, that I can tell you exactly where I was,
mhm, mhm,
exactly what happened. One of them right quick was my dad would constantly call me and tell me, "Shit, you got to get something for yourself." He could walk out the door. I know he loves you, but he could walk out the door tomorrow and you're not gonna have anything. What about you? You need to do this. You need to do that. And he would barrage me.
mhm,
And
mhm,
finally, I'll never forget. I had moved to L.A. Lexi was an infant. I was driving down the 101 freeway and I was going toward home and I was crossing over DeSoto Avenue and he called.
mhm,
And I said, you know what? Don't call me back call me for anything, any other reason. Don't call me back with this again. You're right. He could walk out the door tomorrow, and I would have to trust that God would help me find a way to take care of me and my kids because I can't divide my attention. I said, if I split my time
Mhm.
and halfway do me and halfway do them, everybody will suffer. I'm going to focus on my kids until, and pray that God gives me, the time to get back with the locust stole and do something for me when they're independent. And I squashed it because he's my dad. I'm considering always, because she's my mom. I'm always considering, and that's bringing us back to this estrangement conversation.
Mhm.
That's why it's so deep,
Mhm.
because there is a role. Now I'm going to go even deeper.
Well,
When
can I stop you real
Yeah,
quick, just real quick?
yes,
Because
please do.
I want to ask Mimi, when you, because you have a trained eye, when you saw that there were things happening with the grandchildren, were you someone who could identify that faster than even Marla was able to identify, or Dave was able to identify it?
Well, when you are a parent, Val, there are things that you see and experience that a brain difference is not something that you think about.
Right, right.
You don't consider that. I mean, you
Yeah.
just consider it as, bad behavior, or, just
Mm-hmm.
routine mischievousness, or whatever.
Yeah.
But, when there are certain signs and things that you see as with a trained eye, that you can point out that a parent is not gonna they're not gonna pick up
You're,
on.
you're in denial. And even when she told us in the beginning, we were like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
drama.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Mm-hmm.
in fifth grade. What are you talking about? Okay,
Right,
you're excusing it away, and that's
right.
denial is natural, which is what she's saying.
Right.
And
So, if you have a child that is just excels in whatever, and as soon as they realize that they're excelling and, you know exceeding in things, and then they stop, then that is one thing that is a signal that
mm,
you need to look into.
mm-hmm.
And then you can begin to see a little pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that a trained eye can see, that,
Yeah,
and my thing was always, because once they get to be 18, there's not a lot of inroads that you can make. You're
right,
done,
right.
because it's up to that person as
Yes.
to whether or not they want to, you know,
Yeah.
be helped, or there are things that you can do.
And there, depending upon what their brain difference is, there are authorities that just because they know their name, they know what city they're in, they ask these basic questions to determine if the person is competent enough, but not really understanding or caring.
Oh, well,
Let's say
see,
that.
and there was never a question about psychosis, competence, or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just trying to, at that age,
Yeah.
shape what you see
Yeah.
is going awry.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know
You're
what?
trying to steer it in the right direction when you see
Mm-hmm.
that it's getting ready to be amiss.
Mm-hmm. Mimi, I think too, like what you're saying is so true. I was thinking about my mother has a first cousin that actually kind of raised her. So she was older and was like, a mother to her. My mother lost her mother when she was 8 years old. And so she was bounced around a bit, and her first cousin raised her, who was like a grandmother to me. And she had a biological son who had children. Her first grandchild and I were about the same age. So they lived in Michigan. Every time I was so excited to get there, and always knew my cousin, and wanted to connect with her. My mother, who didn't have a trained eye, could tell that there was something going on with this child, but the parents didn't see it. The grandparents didn't see it. And my mother said there's something going on. And come to find out, she was autistic at a time when people weren't understanding autism or
Or
even
identifying it, right?
denial too about things. What'd you say, Marla?
Nor I just, it was adding a word, just a descriptor. I just said identifying it.
Yeah.
That's all I said.
Yeah, they didn't have the wherewithal to identify it. And then I think sometimes when you're too close to the situation, you don't see things that others can see. But a trained eye probably really was, that was probably hard for you to watch, I would imagine.
Well, from my perspective, I just wanted to do something to intervene,
Sure.
to steer things in
Yeah.
the right direction. I mean, when you see extreme potential in a child
Yeah.
and you know that there are things that can happen to help them, steer in the right direction, then you want to do that.
Yes.
Let
Zero
me.
Likeness is
Yeah.
sharing in the chat that she had a teenager with issues that she took her own life.
Yes. And I
Um,
was given the prayer,
yeah,
and I as a from mother to mother. I don't personally know you, but when I tell you my sincere
absolutely.
understanding heart and love goes out to you, I understand, and I understand that. I pray that God gives you the comfort and the grace
Yes,
to
God.
go forward from here. Only because I realize that none of us are ever going to have the right words, and you're going to have to learn to live with that pain forever. But you will
And
move forward.
and see, these are some of the things that a trained eye many times can spot and try to, help prevent that. When you're with it every day,
Hmm.
you sleep it.
I'm sure. I'm sure. So did you? I'm guessing you did, but you mentioned these things to Marla, and then how
Yeah.
did Marla receive it at the time?
Well, they'll.
No, in the beginning we dismissed it. No,
Hmm.
no ifs, ands, and buts. Okay, like I said, hello drama, hello. You're thinking. Let me just say this. I'm gonna
Hmm.
speak for all parents. You don't want these things to be the case, so
Hmm.
you're not readily going, "Oh
Sure.
yeah, oh that's what you think," because the things that she's talking about were
Absolutely.
not so egregious that you're like, "Oh, they're three and they're not talking."
Right. Right. Right.
Oh, they're
Right.
one and they can't even sit up. Like it's not, you know what I'm saying? There was nothing that was blatant. Moniece was super
Sure.
smart, blah blah blah. But the behavior did get to be like, huh? We did have our light bulb moments.
Yeah. Sure.
Biggest one for me, she was 4, but it
Hmm.
was a person. And let me also say this: mental health is still a new science, and so borderline
There's always still new
personality
discoveries. Always.
is new. It's
Yeah.
only been in the Diagnostic Statistical Manual since 1989, maybe 90.
Wow. I
It
didn't.
was something that no one was identifying for what it was. All this talk, it just blew up recently in the last 10 years. Narcissism, malignant narcissism. In other words, there are buzzwords that happen and they grow because people are always looking to understand different behaviors.
And let me just insert this. This is a technical or a medical difference. You never hear anyone say that a man is borderline.
He's narcissistic.
No,
He's
no,
NPD.
no. He's
They'll
got a
say he's
personality.
narcissistic,
No,
but
no. He has a personality
Right,
disorder.
an NPD. They'll say he has NPD and a woman has BPD.
Right. You're never going to hear that about a man.
what's BPD? Say it again.
Borderline
Borderline
person.
personality.
And
Okay, so
NPD
they'll say
is
a woman has
narcissistic personality
borderline.
disorder.
You're never going to hear that. You're never going to hear a man with that label.
So it's attached to because it's usually the physicality of it or the behavioral difference of it is always very emotional. So let me give you a national example.
Okay.
The character that Glenn Close played in
Faith.
Fatal Attraction had borderline.
Okay.
She was a borderline personality disorder.
Okay.
So if you do your research, that's how that was part of the character makeup of that character, not Glenn Close herself. I got to be clear because
You're right.
people will
You're
take
right.
my
Yes,
words and
character.
she was on there and she said Glenn Close has borderline. She's nobody's doctor. Ah!
No, no, no. We're talking about the character that was boiling the animal in the yeah.
Yes, yes. And then Michael,
But it's the one diagnosis that psychiatrists
don't want to treat.
do not want to treat.
Why?
It's because it's very risky, and many borderlines go to the edge of every border. That's why it's called that.
Okay.
And so there's a very high suicide rate
70%
among
in a
borderlines.
lot of cases.
So therefore, psychiatrists do not want to take that risk, because you can treat a borderline, and if you don't know what you're doing, they will trick you, and you'll be the patient.
So, Marla, are any of your children considered borderline to have borderline personality
Do
disorder?
you want Moniece to block you twice?
No, I don't. I just asked.
that was
Moniece,
the only
I love you,
that was the
Moniece, and
only diagnosis that I was aware of for her. I speak openly, and let me say this: David and I have always said the reason we don't like to talk about what we knew the diagnosis to be, because she clearly hates it, and we don't do it to try and label her. I don't want any of my kids to wear that as who they are. My
well,
my son is not schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder, bipolar one. My daughter is not depressive, blah blah blah, borderline. But I will say this: diagnosis, people, is necessary.
I
But
agree.
look you in your eye.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
the handlebar on a bike that allows you to drive it in the right direction.
Right,
I'll
right.
say that again. It is the handlebar on a bike that helps you drive it in the right direction. That's all it is. You
Mm-hmm,
cannot get a handle on how to treat something that you don't know what it is.
mm-hmm.
But from a professional standpoint, I would never give someone that label.
Okay, okay. And here's
I
what
I could not.
does do the kids? I mean, I know DJ is aware of what he's dealing with.
I
Does
don't think,
does
no, I don't think, yes and no. And here's why. I understand why for her. This is so heavy, but it's so clear to me. And these are the things I have to share because it's going to help free even people who are suffering.
so you're saying that Moniece, I'm just wondering, is this your opinion of yourself, or is this the does she feel that this is the opinion of you
No, what?
or
Yeah, she will
from a
say that
therapist?
she will say that diagnosis was not given. That's fine.
Okay, so that's not her opinion then of herself.
No, and it is because, and I want you to think about this. If you understand what it is to to be different in this way, imagine that. I love to give emotional things that can connect you emotionally to an issue. Imagine that you didn't have any idea on the inside really who you actually are,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and someone says,
This.
why are you so mean, or why are you so this,
Mm.
and you feel like the one little thing that you might be able to figure out possibly is about you is flawed. They don't have the ability to receive any of that. That's part of the issue. It's like my son. Once they're medicated and they're unmedicated, they don't see themselves as having the problem. That's why it's an insulated reality. You're the issue. Everything outside of themselves is the problem. It's not them.
Yeah.
So why would I want to take medicine when you're the issue?
But I have her, and Moniece, let me say this in all fairness. I invited Moniece to be here because, well, through Marla. Marla mentioned it because I wanted to be fair. Because if she does not recognize or feel that this diagnosis is real to her, that, I mean,
That
then
would be fine. But the problem with all of it is everything she hears because of who she is. Her filter is you're attacking her, and you're saying that she's flawed. Where I can hear criticism on that live that I did. somebody wrote, I read comments. Somebody wrote, blah, blah, blah. They wrote two posts, blah, blah, blah. And, with all due respect, you talk too much. Now, do I respond to that? No. Does that hurt my feelings? No. The first question is that true? Sure. You just heard it. I started talking like this at 2. So I've always talked too much, technically. But guess what? I have a hell of a lot of stuff to say. So I'm not mad at it. You see the dip that, but that, I have a center. Imagine if everything that you thought about me that was spoken to me, I took it as a criticism.
Right.
How that would be. It was physically hurting me that you thought that I had a dark spot on my face, or why isn't your nose rounder, or what the hell is wrong with your lip, or girl, why you have so much attitude. You see what I'm saying? So for a lot of us, we have to filter through that, because some of the stuff that's being said, I have to decide what about these things make me who I am. And at some point, I'm at the point, and have been for most of my life, after I've assessed where criticism can be helpful, it's not my problem.
Sure.
If you don't like the spot on my face, get the hell off of my live. Stop looking at me. That's a choice that you're making. So if you're still here just to criticize, I don't filter that. And I put it in a situation of, where's it coming from? You don't know me.
Right. And you don't
If
know.
you know me, if you said, Marla, you might want to consider a skin product because I see you're having some issues with blemishes, I would actually, yeah, and I would say about, a girl, I started, with my skin was perfectly clear until I was in my 30s, and it got then messed up and it cleared back up, and we'd have a discussion, because I wouldn't even go, that's not true. I'm not going to defend the obvious, but you have to be a person. She's sitting here. Mm-hmm. We are very different. Mm-hmm. If you had to give a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most sensitive person on the planet, and 1 being I don't give a two blanks in a bucket, I'm a 2. She's a 9.
Does your mom
super sensitive? Mom
me,
is super.
What's your okay? And I understand we're all from the church, myself included. But I'm just curious. When's your birthday? When's your birthday?
August 5th.
What is that? Leo. That's
She's
a Leo.
a Leo.
Okay, I'm a Pisces. I'm very, very sensitive. And
I'm a Pisces too.
When's your birthday, Marla?
February 21.
Okay, I'm March 14th.
So I must be in don't give a damn Pisces category.
No, here's the thing. And you do give a damn, so that we know that. But
that's true.
And you are very passionate, and that is something that's very true about Pisces. We're passionate people. We feel. I think you have feelings, Marla.
Oh, for sure. Big
and
feelings.
I think you just express them differently, or they show up. Your response to them is different, but I think you have strong responses, and so do I. So I get it. And let me say this: I have heard Moniece say, and Moniece, because I do follow you, and I have seen her say that she's dealt with depression. I have heard her say that there are things that she recognizes. She may not, and I respect that if she doesn't feel that this diagnosis is hers, or even if a doctor did say it, maybe she still doesn't believe it, and that's fair if that's her perspective on it. But I heard her identify that there are some things that she has to battle.
And again,
and these are the things that I was pointing out as a teenager, because I could see that self-esteem was a clear issue for her. And I could see all the potential. And these are things that were kind of underlying other things. And when you I was always super close to Moniece. So you just want to see her be the best that she can be.
You wanted to win.
Of course.
I mean, that was always, if Moniece said, I want to do such and such I'm right there.
Yeah.
To help her. We designed a garment one time for her to walk on the red carpet for the Oscars.
For the Grammys. For the Grammys.
Oh, for the Grammys.
She didn't go to Oscar.
So she and I
Oscars, she said.
Grammys, yeah.
Yeah, okay. She and I designed an outfit we designed it together. I mean, we did all kinds of
Together.
things.
Yeah, yeah. And this live is not about Moniece. It is not. I just we're bringing these instances up
Right,
because this is an experience that you all have had with your child and grandchild,
right.
children. Because I want to make that clear. So, at what point, Marla? What was the definitive moment when either you or Moniece decided that you were going to be estranged from one
Well, I
another?
want to
Was
clear
it your
one thing
choice
up,
first or hers?
and that's interesting. I want to clear one thing up. Moniece said something the other day in our live that is, I will protest publicly and privately, and again, that she, until she was ousted out of the family or kicked out of bull.
Yeah,
You
I was
didn't
gonna
want
say
to, that
ousting
never,
out
that
the
because,
family.
but that was never the case, but that is her real perspective, because we were unwilling to go along with or to respond or to behave in the way she needed us to behave for her to feel good with an incident that was not okay. See what I'm
Okay.
saying? So in other words, and so it was never said. And I told her the other day, it's very hard for me to have a discussion with you because you can't just redact pieces of a conversation that are out of context.
Okay.
David saying to her, I gave you a family, was in response to Moniece always criticizing and saying, well, your family sides with da 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 and such uncle this thinks this and blah blah blah. And David's like, Moniece, the craziest thing about it is these are people that are supporting you in doing wrong, and you're right. Biologically, that you've been a division in my actual family.
Okay.
I can't even deal with my own siblings the right way anymore because they've chosen sides. And so he was responding. But if you listen to her tell it, she tells it from her hurt perspective, which is true for her. That
And
is
I was
true.
gonna say that's her feelings. I mean,
But
that's what
but
she
but it
perceives.
but let me say this, and this, let's get back, this will lead us back to the estrangement thing. We have got to stop saying there's it's your truth and my truth.
Well, yeah.
In
There's
therapy, I said to Moniece, and I'll do it here. I pick this up and I say, this is a phone. And
Mhm,
you say, it's a book. And I
mhm.
told the therapist, if we how you feel about the phone, I think the phones are, too much and such. Well, I think that we need them, and I think that they can't make enough phones. We're sharing our true perspective on the factual item.
Well,
But if
that's the
you say
point.
this is a book, we're doomed because we're going to be having a discussion to solve a problem from a situation that is not factual. This is not a
Well,
book.
well, here's the thing, and I agree with you. I agree with you. I think that there is a difference between facts and truth. You see what I'm saying? The facts are the facts. Now, based on the facts that are presented, you may have a perspective about those facts or how those facts impacted you, where someone else may use those facts and see it from a different way. Does that make sense?
I hear you, but I'm about to read you the actual definition because it's an intent. It's a tangible evidence
Yeah,
of
fact
something
is.
that can be proven. So therefore, when you say, I guess in that way you might be right, because when Monique says I punched her in the face, I slapped her.
Well,
No, but she's insisting on saying it was a punch. So what I'm
No, there
saying to
was
you
an
is,
instance, there was a situation.
but the fact is that is not a fact. But I hear what you're saying. That's a bad example because there is room for perception in
a
that.
punch or
Yeah,
slap, whatever, it's a hit.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I hit her.
exactly. Exactly. There
But
was
let
an
me just
assault that took place. She perceived it as a punch. You say it
But
was a
what?
slap.
Right. But
let me
good.
just say this. There are facts and then there are perceptions.
Absolutely.
And what your perception is what you believe, and
It's true.
whether it's a fact or not, that perception is not going to change.
Mm.
So you just have to figure out how you're going to deal with the perception, because that perception is not always true.
And that is
And
correct.
if your perception is going to put me, now we're back into the estrangement thing. You have a decision to make. And if your perception is going to put me in jeopardy, and here are my rules for my life, there are 3 things that are not optional. If you impact me negatively, emotionally, physically, or financially, other than that, I don't. It's your prerogative. But when you actually, if I choke her out, that's a problem. If I cause her, if I do something to if I went in her bank account and stole all her money, that's a problem.
Hey,
If I emotionally abuse her, blah blah
hey,
blah, every
Moniece.
day,
Moniece
that's a
is here.
problem.
But but
Moniece
then
is in here.
but
Moniece,
that
you should join us.
but that's
I'm gonna
subject to
put the
perception.
if she wants to join. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm
Send her
sorry.
the link. But can I say this?
Uh-huh.
You need to be educated. All of you need to be educated.
Oh,
I'm giving you everybody, all the VLenore family, Mimi and Val, right now. Okay? Listen to this, Light Bright. Fact.
stop it.
Here's the definition of a fact: a thing that is known or proven to be true. Proven to be true. You don't just get to throw out stuff and say that it's a fact. It has to be proven to be true.
Okay.
Tangible proof
But
of
she,
evidence of tangible proof of a
Okay,
fact.
that's
let's be
one
clear.
thing.
Let's be clear. Moniece may have felt that the tangible proof of you hitting her was considered an attack on her.
That's why I said I take it back. That's a bad example because I can get with that. And I can get with this. I'm okay with the fact that her feelings may not line up to what the facts are. I can respect her feelings. But you cannot make a fact. That's all I'm saying. You can't turn, something that didn't happen into something. You can't flip it and make your feelings and your perception create the reality of a truth that doesn't exist. It can't be proven.
Okay, let me say something. The generational part in me, this is where we differ.
Okay.
You can say whatever you want, whatever your perception is, whatever, however mean it is, whatever you choose to say. My way of looking at it is I choose to believe the people that know me and that are important to me know who I am, and they, that's what's important. And what you say, oh well.
Unless it's the people that know you best that are misrepresenting the facts. And that's where we get to the point. That's the point. It's not all the. Listen, here's the thing. Here's where we agree. I feel like the people in my vest, those are the only voices that impact me. Those are the only people I hear. My life, due to the things, the challenges that I have not asked for, but I'm managing, is a prize fight. And this is where I've had to say this to my husband's family. When I'm in the ring and you have all these opinions and all these things, and I'm in this fight to win it for my family, for my kids, and you say, Marla, such and such and such and such, and I turn to see what you're trying to say, you're literally distracting me. You're the person that's supposed to be in my corner. We've trained together. You've been there before the big show. All these people in the audience who bought tickets, I don't hear you. Scream out whatever you want to scream out. But I hear you when you're those people. Those are, Val, and I talked about this. Those are the most important people to me because you're the voices that I hear because you have the full picture. You've walked with me. You have an understanding based in the same truth that I have lived, have experienced my whole life. You were there when these Valerie, I was there when you were pregnant.
I know.
Your son can't tell me nothing about what was or what wasn't. I was there. I know what happened in your past. So the reality is there's that. So for somebody else seeing you only on the VLenore show, who've gotten a perception of who you are and can perceive all these things and get a feel for you and blah blah blah, and they derive a fact, they create a factual reality about you because of this, you don't know shit.
Let me say this real quick. So Moniece is saying or unless the people that think they know us best don't actually know us at all. And then she said, but if you did not hear them, we wouldn't hear from you as much as we do, respectfully.
But if you didn't hear them, this is the second part I'm missing.
Yeah.
But if you didn't hear them, we
If you
wouldn't hear from you as much as we do. Oh, she's saying that if I don't hear from the people outside, then you guys wouldn't hear my response as much as you wouldn't hear me responding. And my thing is, I'm responding always. And this is the thing: I try to respond to an issue, and I try my best to respond in a way where someone who's going through a shared experience can get perspective for themselves to manage whatever that is. So to me, that is why, Moniece, you were and have been given a platform and a draw. You have an it factor where people want to hear what you're saying. So my thing is, if people around you are hungry, what are you feeding them? That's my thing.
let me
But
ask
I'm still not. But I'm still not saying that you have to walk my walk. And
let me,
and that is where I apologized the other day and said I wish I had done a better job of facilitating more of who she actually was,
mm-hmm,
instead of trying to always drive her to maximize the potential of what I saw, of
mm-hmm.
what I wanted her to be,
Let me
based
ask
on
you
what I saw.
does is there a moment in time, and Moniece, I know you're in the chat so you can respond to this, was there ever a moment in time when the decision was not yours to be estranged but was actually Moniece's choice? Was there a time when Moniece felt like my parents are too much or my mom is too much and I'm going to make a decision that whether you agree with it or not, whether you felt like the truth or the perception was not fair or accurate, regardless of how you felt about it, Marla, did she ever feel like I'm walking away? Okay, so Moniece said no. So then, Moniece, with that said, how did you feel when your parents created these boundaries? Did you feel abandoned? Because, see, that's our truth. Even if the reasoning why you did what you did or made the decisions you made, it doesn't change her truth that she could have possibly have felt abandoned. Is that a possibility?
Oh, she definitely felt abandoned. She
Okay.
felt abandoned, knowing who Moniece is. She felt betrayed. Absolutely. She
Okay.
felt like that no mother on the planet would speak up against, no matter what their child did. And the words out of her mouth was, even if my child killed somebody. Well, see, I don't have those principles. And I would pray that would not happen. And especially if you're saying, hey, you can't own a gun because your temper's too much, and blah 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 blah. And you listen, just give it to me. I don't want to see you in trouble. Blah 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 blah. But so to me, that's where we're very different. Because the other thing about it is, there's an accountability and responsibility both sides have. We're back
I
to the
agree.
estrangement issue.
Oh, no, 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 no,
And
no.
so you
And
don't
I'm
just
not
get to.
saying you were wrong. I'm saying, and
I know,
I'm not
you're not, but I'm saying this because someone needs to hear this. Someone who's an adult child needs to hear this. I'm about to give you two nuggets as I wrap. This nugget is this: we both as adults have a responsibility. And the responsibility that Moniece is abdicating is, what we stand for and who we are and how you were raised and what our expectations are as an adult. And we also told you, and you realize, when you get to be grown, we respect that, which is why we don't come to your house and try to change anything. No matter what was going on over there, that's your house, we left it alone. But so, because those rules go for both sides of the fence.
oh, no, no, no.
But
I agree. I agree
but I'm
completely.
saying I need to get clear, so because it's not just up to me to do what you think is a mother, and hide all of your sins that are damaging, especially when you use that as a shelter. It's like using the internet as a shield.
I
That's number one. Number
I
two, the other responsibility that every child should have, that I had to go through with my mother, because I was furious when my mom left and didn't say anything. I hated her for 3 years, easy, to the point of, just be gone. I'm done.
She told me she wished a car would run over me and kill me.
I did.
Marla.
I did. I'm so glad that didn't happen. Mm-mm. But the bottom line is this: I was a teenager. And I make no excuse, even though I realized that was wrong. And let me say something recently. Our personalities are very different. And since
Sure.
I've been living here, she lives in another house a minute down the road.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little heated back and forth over an issue. And in that conversation, I was trying to explain my point of view, and she was seeing it from her sensitive, hurt feelings. And I said to her, "You're not listening. Would you please take your baby feelings off the table?" And she said that was rude. And I said, "You know what? It was."
Dismissive. It just, yes.
And
Yeah.
but listen, I said, "You're right. It was. I apologize." In that, I didn't hang up and call back later. It
Yeah.
was rude. I got beside myself, and that was rude. So what I'm saying is this. This is my nugget to the second to the kids.
Okay.
In my anger, as I understood, and as I grew in my own parenting, because this didn't happen for me until I was in my early 30s. Okay, I got married at 20, so here I am. The anger part was gone in that way, but deep down I wasn't over it in the way that I had no tolerance at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I said, "You know what, Marla? She is a person who is a sum total of everything she's experienced in her life. That's who she is. And so you have to step back. You're angry about what you expected of her, and this is for you, Moniece. You're angry, Marla, about what you wanted from her as a mother. The label of mother to you meant this. You should do this. You shouldn't walk away. You leave Dad. Don't leave me. But she was a person. What she was as a woman was raised in a different generation, and she snuck off in the night, so to say, because they don't speak up and they don't cause conflict and they don't tell their children. And I said to myself, step back,
Mm-hmm.
start trying to understand who she is as a person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's Marlene, the girl that became a woman,
Mm-hmm.
and these are the sum total of her experiences that shaped who she is as a person. When
Mm-hmm.
I really started to get a grip on that and be accepting of that, looking at myself and saying, geez, if God treated me like this, I have all kind of flaws. I'm messed up to high heaven. So if and there have been people in my life who've forgiven me. David has forgiven me for infidelity. So what I'm saying is, if I can do that, now what I can say is, okay, I'm accepting of Marlene Anita Cox McCraw.
Mm-hmm.
She also happens to be my mom.
Yeah, absolutely. But
And
she
she
put
never did
woman
anything
first
to
with her
intentionally
own
wound me.
experiences.
She didn't do anything to intentionally wound me. And now the final step to that is grow up, become accountable, fully accountable by owning your shit.
And I agree with that. But here's the thing, we talked about this the other day. There's two things that stand out for me. One, Moniece put in the chat, I still feel abandoned. Okay. Now, you may have a different perspective on what happened. There may be people in your life, who have witnessed it and see it the way you see it. Okay. I have seen you guys as a Moniece doesn't remember me. Moniece was a child. Okay. And I have known you though for over 3 decades. I know the type of family environment from what I see from the outside. I know the parents that you and Dave have been, and that sort of thing. But Moniece's experience is, I felt abandoned. Because, and then here's the thing, the other day we touched on this. If it is true, okay, whether she believes it and accepts some sort of diagnosis, or what have you, it's still her feelings, right?
Understood.
And if she has a diagnosis of anything, wouldn't we understand why she might not see it the way you see it?
First of all,
It doesn't change her feelings about it.
you
You see
didn't
what
you
I'm
didn't
saying?
let you didn't let me finish with that. I'm
No,
not mad
okay.
at her at all, or trying to insist on a bright light. To me, it's just a matter to explain a behavior that seems inexplicable. But at the same time, nobody wants to do something where they feel flawed. And I get
Of
that. She
course,
doesn't
I
want to
get.
be
I get it.
Everybody's not going to be kind. I had 100,000 comments in the Dr. Phil thing. You got two kids that are messed up. You should have kept your legs closed. Blah 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 blah. That's the way it goes. Nobody wants that. That's not you. You deal with that. You have to learn. I'm a brain balanced person, so I can learn to filter that. This goes in the who cares, you don't matter category. This goes in the let me speak to this category, and this goes to the wow, I can't believe you think that category. That's where my life goes. I got three categories. You mean absolutely nothing. You can't save me. You're not gonna take anything from me. You don't matter that much. You you, you know that's how I
I
really see
agree.
it.
I agree.
That
I
but
understand.
that but she doesn't think that way. So what I'm saying to you is, and that doesn't mean a blanket. I don't care. That means she's telling you if she's saying she still feels abandoned. We know that we have never. I'm still
I,
here.
and I agree with you. I see
I'm
that.
talking to her. I'm
No, no,
talking
no.
to her.
I know. But what all I'm saying is her feelings are her feel. So let
Sure.
me say this. Let me say this. So she's had some comments in the chat, and I want to make sure I read them. Okay. And Monique said, "What I said." Oh, hold on. Let me do it. What I
Was
said was, unless my son hatched a woman or a child, there's no world in which I'm showing up to testify against my child on behalf of a lying ex. So what is she speaking of here? I know what she's
I'm
speaking.
not getting into that. That's the whole
Okay.
pregnancy debacle, and I'm
Okay.
not because the bottom line is, and again, and there's the thing that is her truth, and I receive it as her truth. There's too
That
much
made
to
her
unhatch.
feel bad.
It's too much with that, and that is something that I would do the same as she would do what she did the same. Maybe I
Oh,
don't know, but I'm
okay,
telling you, under the circumstances that I know exist factually for me,
okay.
that there were no choices for me based on who I am. Then another mother may see it differently, and I'm good with that. But
So
but who I am and the child I was dealing with and the crisis I was dealing with in that moment, based on our past history, that was cup running that over. Then this was a stop, because
okay,
the bottom line is, we have to get to that point, and it
okay.
is crisis. It is crisis that creates change.
I agree. I
Moniece and I have hit the bottom of the barrel. Now, how we fill up our cup from here is something that you can all pray for us that God puts the right stuff in it, because as we begin to refill, I'm not going to fill it with dirty water.
let me
Take
let,
that. And I don't mean to her. I'm just saying I
no, I
need that to be clear, because part of recovering from estrangement, which is what I just gave you three tools, as the wounded child who had every reason to be estranged, but had to accept the issue of my mother. You don't hear my mother saying that didn't happen. I
no,
didn't do that.
I agree. I agree.
Right? So what I'm saying to that, so for me, that's a good first step. And for me, there are ways, like Moniece in therapy said to me, I just don't like the fact you're always calling me. I would rather you say I don't remember things the way that you remember them, but stop calling me a liar. I said I take that. I receive that. And
Let me
there are things I can hear and see, but I can't. If I change the phone to the book, we're no longer solving the actual problem.
I no,
We're not even discussing the thing.
well, here's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that what you are saying is not true. I'm not saying that you aren't right. What I'm saying is, even if you are, she feels a way. You see what I'm
She
saying?
does. She absolutely does.
And so okay, let me read her comments because I want to be clear. She said, correct, hence why I said to you in therapy that you loved me the best way you could. It at times wasn't the best for my emotional needs, but I have to go. The mics are picking up this. Oh, okay, okay, okay. She also says, hold on. She says, but let's make sure that we read my last week. Okay, and I did that. I'm holding myself accountable, and I had a very painful realization of accountability last night on the phone with you and Dad. And I think that's important to say. I actually
I
commended
wouldn't have said
her
that,
the
because
other
again, that
day.
was between us. But yeah.
Okay,
But and those we are in the beginning, like I
of
said.
something
Now
new.
our cup is empty.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's all I'm saying. The cup is
That's right.
empty, and I can respect all the above. And
Can
so
we
when we
also
talk when we
say,
talk about, and let me talk about what Moniece just said earlier, because
okay,
that's the key to estrangement. What I said to Moniece, in therapy, I received that. But my question to you is this: if you really believe, and if you really feel the things that you're saying about my input and relationship to you at this point. Why are you don't try? Because I'm somebody you're determining is going to hurt you as an adult. You have a choice as an adult. I'm always going to be your mother. I'm not disowning or denying you. But I'm also not mothering you, and that's what I made that statement for. She's not mothering me. I'm not dependent on her for my survival or the outcome of the source of my life.
That's
So
where
I think
and you know I disagree with that. You know
I
I
know,
and
but
we talked about that.
that doesn't mean that I'm not a mother.
I
That
agree.
doesn't mean
I
that my
agree.
heart doesn't actually function. And but you
You're
cannot.
mothering differently because you have adult children,
Okay,
but you're
that's what
still
I mean.
mothering.
But as two women, Val, you got one time in real talk to call me out of my name, as I would never do yours. We're done, because I'm an adult and I don't have to deal with that. I don't have friends
And
that I
that's fair.
disrespect that
That's the
disrespect me.
boundary that you set. That is fair
And
and
this is what we're
healthy.
talking about, estrangement. And I'm trying to get you, the world, to see this is the point. We're putting up with things because three letters, MOM, three letters, DAD, three letters, BRO, three letters, SIS. Stop. That's when you're an adult, those things don't have the weight. Those are the people who should be working on love and understanding most, not the people that you're receiving the most damage from, whether it be me to her or her to me. That's why it needs to be estranged. We
Now,
estrange when it becomes to the point we're not going to see eye to eye. And your movement is doing what? Marla gave you three principles: damaging me financially, emotionally, or physically. I'm not going to tolerate any of it. And I don't like who I became trying to accommodate her expectation.
let me
I
say
would
this.
it, go.
Go ahead. No, 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 no.
No, I don't have anything else to say.
She said,
I need to get these teeth out of my mouth tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow.
Moniece has to go, so I just wanted to read the last couple.
Goodbye, sweetie.
Say
Thank
this.
you for
Let me say
stopping
this.
by, sweet lovey boo.
Let me say this. She
That's that.
said
That's not that.
Well,
something up
that's
here.
me joking with her. That's how we joke.
How about so Moniece says, mom is a functional depressive and I'm non-functioning. But do you agree
Which
with that?
mom? Does she mean me or she mean Marlene?
Oh, does she call Mimi
She
mom?
calls her Mimi. Oh, maybe she's talking about me.
She's talking about you. Is that true
No,
from your perspective?
there have been times for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. When I was living in LA with DJ, most definitely, full on. For those 10 years of, it's Robert. For those 10 years of housing D in at the height of managing his schizophrenia, and that's another thing. I felt like at that time, and that's another thing that taught me that my boundaries have to be stricter, because 10 years, I told David, it is crazy to live inside of schizophrenic as a non schizophrenic. I had to, this elevation in my voice couldn't happen. If we had a discussion to have, we took a walk at the park. Everything in my personality is so lively, it had to go to here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I had to become what he needed to manage the auditory hallucinations that were going on in his head. You have
Yeah.
to keep the environment flat for the most part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It came down to, can I hug you? No, no, you know what it is. You know what it is. Okay. Where normally we were very physical,
Right. Right. Right.
just as a family and fun. Like she
Right.
just said to me, now that was sarcastic. I said, bye, sweetie. Thank you for coming. I was being serious. But that's how Moniece and I joke each other. That's how sensitive she is. She thought I was being,
No, I get it. I
but
get.
that's what I'm saying. So I said, Moniece, I'm sure Moniece didn't see me being sarcastic and dismissing her. She said she had to go. And I said, bye, sweetie. Thanks for coming by. Blah, blah. That would be me joking Moniece, but she understands that. But my mom's would hurt her feelings. She would feel like I was telling her to get out of here.
Yeah, because they're different people, and that's why we have to relate to different people
And
different
that's
ways.
all I'm saying.
Yeah. Now, and Monique said, I kept trying because I love my mother and I want more than anything for my mom to be my safe haven. And I get that. I get that. Let me ask you this. Do you think that at certain points where you're dealing with Moniece and DJ, that maybe do you think that Moniece felt that you treated the two of them adequately? Did she feel that, see, because I am a believer that you don't treat people equally. We shouldn't. And the reason is basically the example you just gave. You treating your mom the same way or joking with your mom the same way you joke with Moniece, that's equal. They're going to receive it differently, right? So you have to treat people adequately. Do you think that Moniece saw your interaction with DJ as being the adequate response, or
No, she's very outspoken about that. No, but again, Moniece is seeing things based on
from
who
her
she is.
lens?
She
Yeah,
and her lens is a hurt lens.
and yep,
She's telling
yep,
you
she
flat
is.
out. She just
Yep,
told you she's felt the. Did she use the word abandoned? She no.
Yeah, she said
she
I
did.
feel abandoned.
Yeah, I said okay. So what I'm saying is we know we've never abandoned her.
I get
But if
that.
we did, but she feels that. So what I'm saying to
Yeah,
you, of course she feels like, you know, you know, I'm they treated me different. And guess what's so funny? The one who doesn't complain, who in our opinion should have every right to complain, is
yeah.
Lexi. Because the issues that Moniece and
Everybody
D
got more attention.
absolutely the issue Lexi's joke is I love my mom and dad to death, but I raised myself.
Yeah,
The issues that Moniece and DJ dealt with were like this and critical all the time. There's always some fire we were putting out. And
got you.
here she is floating along and trying to manage DJ's on drugs and she's trying to get a scholarship and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah. And we're fighting in the house and he and
yeah,
I and it listen. So what so who didn't get the attention
yeah. No, I get it. I get
and
it.
who deserves the apology is Lexi.
Did she feel abandoned? Did she feel those things?
That's the difference. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what makes the difference in people. She says to me all the time, I understand where you're coming from because you're the mother in the situation and all three of us are your kids. There's a different level of understanding that doesn't take it personally. That's who she is.
Mhm.
Moniece takes everything personally.
I get it.
You did it to her. You
Yeah.
didn't, she can't see outside the circle of the box.
No,
Belle, I can't do this. I'm brown. I have to, brown skinned people have to hang up and go. I,
y'all
I
gotta
can't.
go.
No,
You gotta
I
go.
no,
Huh? You gotta go.
no. Go ahead. I want to. I just want to. I want to be clear at the end to just give those nuggets because I think that that's what I want to leave people with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the important part because this conversation is about estrangement and I'm really glad Moniece did decide to join us in any format.
Yeah.
Um,
Because
because we are in we are in an estranged recovering situation.
absolutely, absolutely. And same with DJ. You had to have some space and time, even with DJ, knowing that his needs were different, but he's an adult. And at times it's going to be difficult to lead him to the assistance he needs because of his brain differences, because he's an adult and you can only have so much control. Basically, what Mimi said at the beginning. So I get that completely. And even though, and I'll say this and I'll leave this alone about the abandonment thing, it's possible that Moniece could even see that with any decisions you made them correctly. That in fact, mom had every right, dad had every right to make this separation based on my behaviors. And I know that I was wrong or whatever, but I still have the feelings that it was
Sure,
abandonment. And
sure,
that's all
but
I'm saying. That's all I
so
want to give credit for. You know what I'm saying?
and I
And
want to say,
and
go ahead.
because of that, one more thing, and I would also venture to say that it's possible that the estrangement was a necessary
Process.
action so that you could be in this place of rebuild.
Sure,
So it was a
sure.
necessary thing, possibly, so that you can rebuild new. And I'm happy that's happening. But go ahead, Marla. I'm sorry. I just want.
I'm going to give parents one more thing because when we talk even about the differences, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, before we moved here, and so September of 2022,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
DJ had another violent episode. It was over Labor Day.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Before that, after the third one, David and I talked, and David said, "I hate that this is the case, but schizophrenia or not, one more episode that's violent, you cannot live with us. Whether that's the street, whether it's mom can't do this, she's here by herself. Enough is enough." the violent episode happened,
Yeah,
and even though we know of his deficits, DJ hasn't lived with us ever again. So I'm just saying that there still has to be, it hurts your soul that you can't do it, but you can't, there's still a weight of cape of responsibility that even in our flaws, we must carry different issues.
I agree.
Mine are mine, Val's are Val's, Mimi's are Mimi's, Moniece's are Moniece's. You got to carry your own stuff because that's the only way to get where you're going. And this is what we were telling her the other night.
You're
You
right.
know, it doesn't mean we don't acknowledge it. It doesn't mean we can't help it. It doesn't mean we don't love and can't give you all the things that we're trying to give you that we can give an adult. We
Absolutely.
can't give you more than you're going to give yourself.
Sure,
The
sure.
fix is in you, for you, to benefit you.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not her fault that, and this is what I used to tell my brother. My mother never ever one time showed up in the bed with me and Moniece's dad. My mother never ever one time encouraged that behavior. One time. Not once. Never. So for me, my thing is, oh, that was a terrible choice of person for me. But I made that choice. And
Mm-hmm.
so now I have to do all the things to manage my choice as responsibly as I can because that's a choice. To quit and give an excuse, I could have said, I'm not doing this. I'm 18 years old. I'm still gonna be popping. And there are people who choose that way. I didn't want that choice for me. And I'm not criticizing you, but what I'm saying is wear your own accountability coat. You're an
I agree.
adult.
No, you have to. You have to. You have to. Mimi, what say you about all this stuff that we just finished saying? You're hearing Moniece in the chat. Moniece is back. She said, "Dad definitely means business behind Marla." What is she? What do you think? How do you think she? What does she mean by that particularly? But Mimi, what do you hear Moniece saying in the chat when she's talking about her feelings of abandonment? She talks about she's taking accountability. She made that comment too, that she's taking accountability in recent conversations. Um, what do you think about everything that's being
I
said?
just, it's, it's a deeper feeling. I mean, this particular thing, this particular incident may be a point in time or an outward demonstration, but this goes back to what I was saying at 13 and 14.
Mm,
Those, that comment is an outgrowth of feeling less than at that age,
mm,
feeling not worthy
mm,
to accomplish things and to finish things.
mm-hmm.
This is what I could identify. And those things are symptoms of what could be termed as now abandonment, that it doesn't take much
Right, right.
to, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. Mimi,
It, it didn't just occur.
When you left Marla's dad, what Marla, you and your brother stay with your dad initially? No? Or
My brother got to stay. I was told I was coming to LA for Christmas, and if I didn't, and then when I got here, they told me that my dad's like, well, I have to in February I got to go back to baseball, so you just need, it's better that you stay here with your mom, and if you don't like it, then we'll let you come back to Huntsville. That was a lie. They didn't mean that. He didn't mean that. But so no,
did you
I stayed with my mother. My brother was in Alabama.
But here, it
but
was never, Val, let me set the record straight.
okay.
It was never that I didn't want to take her with me.
And I believe
I
you.
want to make that very clear.
I believe you. This
I
this
was
is
t-
go
I
ahead.
was told,
Mhm. Mhm.
back to, flawed, I accept the responsibility for that.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I was told, you can go, but
My
you
kids.
cannot take my children.
This is what I want to say, Mimi, before you say anything else. I'm gonna let you finish. The reason why I brought that up was because a lot of times kids, like you said, your marriage was about you and your husband, and what wasn't working wasn't their business, right? and you had to make decisions that were best for you so that you could be the best person. I'm assuming also so that you could be the best mother to your kids. And what
Right.
for whatever reason you broke up with your husband, you what happens is children sometimes, even though it may not have Marla may not have been aware of what was going on when you leave, and she feels she could have felt abandoned, or when your dad Marla says you it's best that you stay with your mom, you might also have felt abandoned then. But the truth is they didn't abandon you. From their perspective, they were doing what they felt was best, and they had to make decisions that were. Do you not agree with that, Marla? And
Val,
that
the truth is,
Go
Val,
ahead.
the truth is, she just told you the reason why, but she did actually physically abandon us in the
No,
beginning.
she left, but that's not abandonment
No,
necessarily.
no,
You
no, but it
put it
is.
that way.
No, no, she's right here.
She she just told you that she couldn't. She
No,
was
no,
told
Val,
she couldn't
Val,
take you.
she's talking about the emotional stuff. The reality is, she said she was going to work in California. I was in Alabama, and she called up on my first day of school and said, "I'm not coming back. Put your father on the phone." That's the facts.
Okay,
And she was gone.
but that has nothing to do with you.
But it did.
It
I'm the
felt
child
like
left
it.
without. There was nobody to take care of us. My dad was scrambling to get my grandmother to come.
She was there.
Who? Oh, Nana.
Yes.
Whatever. The point that I'm making is, yes, that is actual abandonment. Now,
That's
did we?
Marla.
Yeah.
Marla,
Stop.
See, in my mind, true abandonment would be if
cutting off.
if in December it's decided that she's going to come with me, and I say, no, I don't want her.
I
That is a
Okay.
agree,
that to me is
Marla. I know you.
abandonment.
So you guys are talking about term limits. I got
No,
it. They don't
I
have a.
don't disagree that you felt the way you felt, Marla. That's all I'm saying. You
No,
felt
and
like
and
that.
and I have accepted that, and I have had the discussion with Marla. The one thing that I would have done differently is discuss it with them. But I thought that I was doing the right thing
Uh huh.
in not, because when I was growing up, my mother included me
And all the
in
drama.
everything, and
And that
anything
might
that
have been a
happened,
mistake too.
she would say to me, if you were here, this wouldn't be happening. Or if you were here, your father wouldn't be doing this. Or he's doing this and that. What can I do to fix that? Or this woman is doing this or saying that. How can I deal with that? So I didn't want to have anything like that with my kids. And so it was a plan that this was going to happen. And I knew, I should never say I know. I felt that if I had given them the choice at the time,
Mm-hmm.
they would have rejected it anyway. But that's something that
You
I
thought.
did I didn't put to the test.
Right, right,
And when I asked her later, she said she would not have wanted to come.
Correct.
But I didn't give her the option.
doggone it, Marla.
But the
You
injury was
can't
that.
have it both ways now.
Well, we're not going to get into the woods with that because she was so hurt at the time. There was also a lot of conversation that surrounded that was not cool to her children. So there was that. So,
Okay.
but we're past all that, which is why we're not
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
we're
It
not
doesn't,
perfect, and
and
things.
that's
It
what,
doesn't fix anything.
and that's the point that I was trying to make to end. The ending for me is about how to recover
I agree. I agree. No, no,
because
no,
it's
no.
not about throwing blame buckets. At the end of the day, it's about my own sense of accountability, and it's also about my own understanding based on understanding and accepting who somebody else is and how they work because of what they've been through as adults. I'm
No,
an adult, she's an adult woman. I get it, and having children gave me a different perspective. Fedora is hilarious, by the way. I'm not sure what the hell thing
no,
is.
wait. What
Is that a
Fedora
booty
is
blowing in
saying?
the wind?
Wait. What Fedora is saying is very, very true,
It's
and
about
I
the oxygen
agree
mask.
with Mimi did was exactly what they tell you to do on the plane. If it's going down and you have a child next to you, a mother's instinct would be, let me
To
get my child
first,
together
right.
first. But the truth is, you need to take care of you first so that you can fully support this child. You can't help nobody if you're not good. And I
Agreed.
think your mother leaving was not necessarily something she wanted to do. It was something she felt she had
And
to do.
again,
And it
I
left you feeling the way you felt, no doubt. Whether you
I
would
feel
have chosen it or not, Marla, I'm not discounting your feelings. And all I'm saying is that the kids too may have had a similar feeling.
that's fine. I'm not disagreeing. I'm only saying to you that it's the responsibility to just not disappear at a sensitive time as that is important because you do absolutely feel like what happened, where'd she go, you do. And so that's what I mean. And remember, and I'm just gonna, and I hate this because but it's necessary. I was 14. I was a girl, a little girl. Moniece is in her 30s. She's
No,
34.
I'm not comparing the same. I get you. I got you. I got you. But
and
she's
and
still
and we're good. But
Mar
I'm just saying that
but
you're
Marla,
talking about formative stuff, and we have to. I have to say it that way, Val, because these are the things that are going to help another parent.
I agree.
It's the process in which you do things.
I
I'm
agree.
not saying my dad was trying to get back together, and I said, Ninja, no, Ninja, no, you're not different. She'll tell you, I don't want them together. So it's not about I can't believe my parents broke up. Oh my God,
No,
no.
let me tell you something real quick. Let me tell you something real
I
quick.
would have preferred I had fighting parents.
No, you don't. Let me explain something to you real quick, okay? Now let me be transparent. So when I got married, my he and I started, clashing. It's the first year of marriage. Neither one of us have been married before. I've never lived with a man, prior to being with my husband. So all of these things we're trying to navigate through. We are really going at it because there's a power struggle happening, all sorts of things. Time goes on, we break up, we get back together. We're constantly going through stuff, but I in my heart I wanted so badly for our marriage to work. Okay. I wanted it so badly. And I'm sure he did too. I know that he did. He wanted it to work too. But I came from a household where my parents were together until my dad died. Okay. I lost my dad when I was 33. I lost my mother at 44. They were together until he passed away. When I tell you they fought, and I mean not physically, but still verbally. And it was more so my mother than my father. She was very outspoken. She was the strong personality. My dad was more passive. And when I tell you that was my experience all of my life, they fought to the point where I said to my dad, "You need to leave her." I said this because I had so much anxiety. I didn't know to put a name on it, but to hear them fussing, to hear my mother constantly berating what I felt was berating him. She may have had some really justifiable reasons why she was frustrated with my dad, but he was my daddy. I had a perspective about it too. Whether it was right or wrong, what I did know was it made me physically ill to hear them fussing like that, to the degree that I wish they were divorced. On the other hand, my ex-husband had, when I met him, his mother was on her third husband, who she shortly thereafter divorced. He was used to being in relationships that if there was friction, oh, well, then forget it. This ain't working. I'm out. I'm not going to put any effort into it. So I came from a perspective of you stay no matter how bad it is. He came from a perspective of we're not getting along. I'm out. Neither of those things were healthy. Neither of
Right,
those things were correct.
right.
But I had a perspective about it. And so to hear you say that I wish I had fighting parents, you don't know that
No, no,
that's
no, no. You didn't understand. I didn't get to
okay.
finish.
All right.
I
All right.
I
I'm
wish
sorry.
I
Look,
was
I
saying
got in
I
my
almost
feelings. I'm
no, no. I was just no. Let
listening.
me just say this. I was just saying, and the rest of the sentence was, I wish I had fighting parents because I would have understood why they broke
What
up.
was going on? Okay.
We
Okay.
had a we had a
Okay.
ha- we had a household that when my dad did come home from baseball, we played together. We had practical jokes. We I didn't see the tension at all, so it didn't make any sense. Why are you guys? Why is this happening?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
No, and I get it.
So
But
once they broke up and I got to know who they both were individually, I'm like, y'all should have been. I don't even know why you got together. That's
I,
right, but it wasn't
absolutely.
because of fighting, and that's all I'm saying. As from a child's perspective, I didn't come from a chaotic home.
Right, right. So, and I get that, but it doesn't mean it wasn't chaotic. From
No,
your
no, no. Of
perspective,
course. I'm just.
And
it
Val, you
was.
know what? It wasn't. It was
Okay.
never.
Okay.
It wasn't a chaotic household at all.
But it was you two had you and your husband. That's what I mean.
We didn't really argue or fight between us at all. Period.
Oh, oh,
It
okay.
was just
Emotionally dysfunctional.
yeah. It
Okay.
was just
That's chaos.
I yeah. It was just the
That's
level of infidelity and those kinds of things that I just kind of sequestered to make sure that things stayed on an even keel. It got to be too much. There was a lot to it.
because there
Somebody,
was
somebody.
chaos going. But see, that's what I mean by chaos. It doesn't always show up the same way, and so
Right.
everyone involved is going to perceive it differently. And I,
Okay.
I I bring all of that up, Marla, because I just want to give some credence to the fact that our perceptions are our realities. It may not
Sure.
be the facts, it may not even be the full truth, but it is
Sure.
our reality, and that's how we
Sure. And
respond.
our realities are what we're responding to. I got it.
Absolutely,
And I
absolutely.
give her, I mean, because she says that she feels or felt abandoned. I
Hmm.
don't ever I don't ever question that, because what she feels is what
It's
she
what she
feels.
felt.
I
Right,
mean,
right.
I know what my goal was, and
Mm.
I know that I would never really abandon her,
Of course,
ever.
of course, of course.
When she came to LA, I totally rearranged my working schedule, my whole life, everything to accommodate Marla. But when I was growing up, we moved every 4 years. And for me, I couldn't understand wanting to move to a better situation. And you're telling me, well, no, I'm not going to move my children. So, and it got to be too oppressive for me. So I said, okay, well, we can adjust. In 1 year, I'm out. And it was a plan.
Mm-hmm, hmm. No, I get that completely, and I think so. Marla, at this point, now with all the facts in front of you, is your perspective still abandonment where that was concerned? Now that you know all the facts, because I think our parents are doing the best they know how to do.
Yeah. Those are two separate questions. First of all, I'm 57. I'm not dealing with a 13-year-old issue at all. And
I
at
do
that time,
sometimes.
no, I'm not though. And not. I mean, I've done a lot of work to not.
I
But
feel.
at
Let
the
me tell
time,
you something. Both of my parents are gone, right? I'm 55. Do you know I feel like an orphan? Do you know when my mother passed away, I thought, oh my God, I'm without both
I'm by
parents?
myself. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see that.
And
I can
I
see that.
felt like and there are moments when I feel like, look, I feel, let me say something else. Let me be transparent. When Channing was about 4, no, he was 2. He was 3 or 4 is when I moved to Atlanta. And for the first couple of years, I didn't have him with me. I was commuting back and forth from Ohio to Atlanta every month, or my parents, because they were both retired, they came and they would stay with me and stay a couple weeks or whatever. Do you know, it's funny because I always feared he was going to feel abandoned, and I felt like, I know that that's not what's happening here, but I know he could feel that way. Do you know, in his mind, he doesn't even realize I wasn't there. Like, I don't know, his memory is like, no, I didn't miss anything, because when I got pregnant, I moved home with my parents, and he felt like, well, this was just,
That's
you may
that's
not
that's
see
norm.
the
That's
Chelsea
home, right?
Yeah, because I felt like, oh, he's gonna feel like I gotta hurry up and get him here because I don't want my baby to feel abandoned.
Right.
And to this day, I feel, a way about it. But I know I did what I did because I had to do that. I was not allowed to even be a parent in my parents' home. I
Right.
was treated like a sibling to my own
And
child.
we told Moniece that we
Mm.
will always be the authority in our home. So as long as you and Cameron are with us, that's up to you.
And that's not good, though.
No, and so that's the point. That's why, yeah. So yeah,
That's,
so what?
go ahead.
To answer your first question, yes, there was abandonment in that moment.
You still feel that.
Is it? Period. That it was, and two, that's not the source of the cause of anything, and you move past that moment, and that's nothing that that I told her that as we went further on in our relationship, I could understand exactly why she left.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have been gone. I wouldn't have married him. That's real. As just as a woman and as a yeah. So I have all the, it's just again that again that's why I took the mother role out. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Val, we're gonna have to wrap because
Okay,
I gotta
that's
get.
fine. Tell me any final words you have about this.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure.
gotta pack up and get ready to get on a plane in the morning.
Oh, where you? Oh,
I'm
you're
going to
coming
get
here.
all I want for Christmas is my two front teeth.
You're staying. Oh, you'll be here for the whole. Wait, you're. How long you'll be here?
Just 2 days.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh,
I
because you're
fly in
having
tomorrow.
work
I
done.
do go to the dentist tomorrow night, and
Okay,
I stay in town long enough to put the guy in a chokehold on Tuesday, and I'm back home on Wednesday. I'm gonna
okay.
smack him up. I'm gonna smack guy up. Guy, you're gonna see this one day. Misha's coming to smack you up. My 3 points are just that. Look, the bottom line is life is not perfect. We all are on a journey.
Mm-hmm,
We have phases in our journey.
mm-hmm.
Once you get to a point of the age of accountability, you know, there's not a person on this earth that got here by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That was that period. You came through somebody, and so my thing is that's what I want to focus on when you talk about estrangement. And it's like when you talked about the Fedora talked about the mask. What I learned through mental health management of my adult children
Yes,
is
you got to take her.
I have to realize that if I could take any of the stress and pain away from them, I'd do it. But
Sure.
that's not what God is going to allow in this realm.
Right.
And so for me,
Yes.
when it comes to estrangement, it's when I manage a mental health episodic issue, it's safety first. And am I and safety includes my mentality, peace of mind, my
Absolutely.
physicality.
Yep.
And so anytime that I can't affect the change,
Mm-hmm.
then I will have to become estranged. I
Fact.
made that up. I'm a
You
rapper.
better
Did you see that?
bars. You better rap
I
up
was
in
spitting.
here.
I was spitting
You
bars.
you better
Bars. Do, 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 do.
clock that. Okay, Mimi, do you have any final words for us?
Um, Not really. I just, my thing is to really accept that people have their own perceptions,
Sure.
and whether I agree with them or not, I have to deal with my own self
Mm-hmm.
as to how I'm going to deal with how that perception that they have affects me.
Mm-hmm. 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 I agree.
Because, if I can't penetrate it and it's going to continue to hurt me, then I have to, take care of me. And that means that I probably need to upset myself from
Mm-hmm.
the situation
Mm-hmm. No, I get that.
because I can't fix it.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I will say is that while estrangement may feel differently or look differently in different situations, different families, sometimes it's necessary so that you can rebuild something new and better than what was. And I think
Mm-hmm.
and hope and pray that that's exactly where you are with all of your children. And I know it's a process, it doesn't happen overnight. And I'm proud of all of you, Mimi, you, Marla, the kids, everybody is making some efforts and trying to take care of this situation and do better in the relationships. So I thank you so much for being
Now,
here.
thank you for having us on. It's always insightful. It's always a pleasure, and it's always you are so bright.
You know
And
what?
What?
whoever
Me,
your
yeah.
producer is, you have to tell him that
You're
you
disobedient.
you were hard headed today because we had a long show.
Sorry.
You. She's trying to say you failed.
No, no, I'm not using that term, but
I
You
lied.
are the biggest loser.
I'm sorry.
tell him that this does not qualify for an estrangement.
Yes. Don't leave Marla or us, Dave. We still need your help here. Okay.
Right,
Listen,
right.
Poor Dave. He just
We got Dave working overtime. We probably over there pulling out his hair about us.
Dave, look.
Your angles are right. Everything.
Moniece says wait. What are we
Oh,
waiting on? You better hurry up,
come on.
Moniece.
Come on up. Wait. Let me put the link in here.
Is she
Hold
trying
on.
to come up there?
I don't know. Is she? Is she trying
She
to come?
says she said wait. I
Tell
don't
the
know what she wants to
Tell
do.
the
story
story of
of
Brian.
Marla and Brian stealing the van
No. No, that's on family bloopers night.
and the boo boo rag story. Jesus.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah, my family has a history of some of the cruelest practical jokes you'll ever hear in your life. So we'll have to have one of those shows. All right,
Uh,
Momo, you can call me. I will be in LA tomorrow, so if you're around on Tuesday, we'll grab a snickety snack.
are you
No,
able to do that on
yeah.
Tuesday?
First of all, these things right here, they look cute on camera, but I hate them.
I get
I
it.
feel like I feel,
Yeah, you look wonderful. You look wonderful. We wouldn't
so
know
I
if
so
you didn't
I
keep
put the
reminding
food.
us. The hell?
I'll keep the because it just because I it's you can tell when I talk sometimes, but I put the food in the back of my mouth and chew it up like
Well, that'll all be over. I
because
just
I
didn't know,
can't
will you be
bite.
storing stuff on Tuesday or anything? You sure?
Yeah, girl, I don't ever come to LA and not try to go to my favorite sushi spot. I'm not telling you what it is though.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not telling anyone because it's so
Especially
crowded that
Is Val in LA?
yeah. She and
Oh,
Channing
I
living
thought
out
she
in
was in
California.
Ohio.
I
Mm-mm.
was. I was.
And
Channing
the
dragged me
wait
to
sometimes can be 3 hours because once it went on to
at the
TikTok,
sushi
everyone.
place.
Yeah, I've been going there
3
for more than 20 years. Then the Kardashians started coming and everybody started coming. There's only 27 seats in the whole restaurant. I'm like, go home. Kardashians, can't you? Don't you have a special fisherman that'll fish your sushi out of the ocean and cut it up for you? Stay out of here. Anyway,
Anyway, thank you both for being here. I love y'all. And I want you back. Mimi, I want you to come back. I love you. And you know
I
what?
want
There's
you back.
somebody else that I know who loves you. That's also a really good friend, and that's Ralph Harris.
Oh,
Uh,
we just saw
Oh
him.
yeah,
he always speaks so highly of you. So
he's
it's
my
a pleasure
friend.
to talk to you. Yes, yes. So thank you both for coming. Moniece, next time bring your butt. Wait, look.
Moniece! See, this is why you just broke the circle of trust. That does it. That's what happened.
That's it. Now
No,
you
I
now
said
she
I
can
wasn't gonna say
change
what it
the
was, and
wind.
she posted it in the
Jesus.
chat.
Oh,
Lord, Lord.
The wait is now 3 hours.
I know Miss can't keep a
And now that
secret.
she did that, it's 7.
A mess. A mess.
She just doubled the ante.
Jesus.
You're gonna get a spanking. You're on timeout.
Well, call me, Marla. I'll see you Tuesday if you want, if you have time.
Okay. All right.
Love you guys. Bye.
Love you
Thank you
too.
so
Bye
much.
bye.
Have a good one.
Bye guys.
Bye. All right, everyone. Thank y'all so much for being here today. I really enjoyed this conversation. Moniece, special thanks to you for stopping by because we did that was a pleasant surprise. And yeah, maybe next time we can have you on. Okay, get your mama together. Okay. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for being here. I think we had a new member who also came in. I'm so sorry. The Real Brown Family Chronicles, you were always a member, so that must have just been something that you had to renew. But thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. And we're going to continue this conversation because, everybody's got a lot of different feelings, and it is what it is. And I value all of the feelings, all of them. All right. So thank you all for joining us in the chat. Please, if you didn't on the way in, please hit that like button on the way out. Thank you to my moderators as well. And remember this, y'all. I love you to pieces. And ain't nothing, not a damn thing you can do about it. All right? Mwah. Switches.